Well, hello everybody for late night with ZBrush. ZBrush late night is what we're doing. Well, at least it's late night for me. We're doing a little bit of a trying the nightly stream for me, and for those of you in other parts of the world, it's early morning. I know in Europe and Russia, and it's afternoon in the world of Asia, so and other parts of the world. I want to see. I might want to change my light. I look a little washed out to me. Let's set a little mood lighting first here, eh? Let's do this. Oh, maybe we go warm. Oh yeah, maybe we go a little warm light tonight. Warm light tonight. All right. What a great. So, how is everybody doing? I see there's some regulars here. I see Mr. Sanson, you're here. Thanks for coming. Hey, David on Facebook. BT Sculptor, all right. Great to have you. 1 a.m. where you're at, Andreas, on Facebook. 1 in the morning. Oh, man. So, first things first. I'm gonna need to fix my Wacom here. Hold on. What a great start for myself. Let me, I gotta fix my Wacom driver here. It's not got my pen correctly. Not calibrated. Let me calibrate this. You guys can watch me calibrate real quick. That's exciting stuff. I know. There we go. Much better. Okay, so, wow, 3 a.m. in Brazil. Where else do we got people? So we got 3 a.m. in Brazil, Mr. Sanson. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, right? This I thought, too, would be perfect. I like it. Jamie, you're going right into my joke here. I've been working on this gremlin. What great. You know, stop working on the gremlin before midnight, my time. Right? But in all actuality, I've just been having a lot of fun making this guy. So I want to get it done. So I'm just going to sculpt some things on here tonight with him. We're going to be taking questions. We're going to be going for this. But, you know, before we get into all of this, I want to first start off with the announcement that we have released a free version of ZBrush. And this is called ZBrush Core Mini. So this has pretty much got Sculptris Pro as its main feature, and it's a great way to just get in digital sculpting. Do we have anybody in here that's never used ZBrush so far, or is everyone a ZBrush user for the people that are watching right now? I'm intrigued. If you're never used ZBrush before, raise your hand now. Go. Perfect. I can't see anything you're doing. Okay. I am crazy doing this stream at this night. Right? But why not? Let's try something different. Okay? Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying ZBrush Core Mini. Okay, so again, for those that don't know, this is a free version of ZBrush. So now you've got 3 levels of ZBrush to get into. You've got ZBrush Core Mini, you got ZBrush Core, and then of course you got ZBrush, which is slowly now becoming ZBrush Professional in a sense, right? You're fairly new, John, only a couple months. So what have you been using, John? ZBrush or ZBrush Core? Because now there's obviously also this mini version. So I'm going to dive into this in the beginning. Because I just want to make sure and show this and answer any questions that are coming out. We just released this. All my days are bleeding together right now. Wednesday. So there you go. So, but you can just got to go here to download. It's free to download. You guys got to make an account, a Pixologic account. And there you go. You'll have the mini available for you. Okay. I'm going to be looking at ZBrush Central often because one of the cool new things that's in the ZBrush Core Mini is the ability, the way you can save out a file. So instead of just saving like a project, we now have what we call an image 3D. So an image 3D by a GIF or a PNG. So right here you can see on ZBrush Central, there's actually a post we started for people to start sharing your work. So this is actually a model. So I can download one of these models and actually start working on it, right? So here's stuff that Joseph's done, and during his stream, people have put other models up here. So you can start sculpting in ZBrush Mini, ZBrush Core Mini, and uploading him right here, and other people can grab them. So this is pretty cool. So I want to kind of highlight that and show that there's pretty cool models in here. I'm going to grab that first one, this one right here. So all I got to do is just do a save as. That's it. And then I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Let's see. I'll save it to my desktop. And there we go. Okay, so let me get in there first before we start diving more deep into my gremlin. He's just fitting to do on a night stream. So here is ZBrush Core Mini. All right, so like I said, it's all Sculptris Pro driven. So you could just start going, right? You only have a limited number of brush compared to ZBrush Core and ZBrush. So you've got these brushes right here, which you got 8 brushes total. You've got some materials to switch through. So you can click on any material that you have right here, which again is just 8 materials to work with. So we were trying to really make this as simple as possible, easy to get into, get used to being able to sculpt in something like ZBrush, and now you're in the ZBrush world. Okay? John, you can grab from any post. You can share this with anybody. You can put this in an email if you want these files. That's why we wanted to come up with this extension, because we thought something like this for this free version where people working would be a very cool way to save files, would be an image, because then it's doing 2 things, right? You can see what the model is, right? And then you can actually load the model from that image. So it's pretty cool to be able to do this, right? So for example, this is just me now just pulling on this, and you can see what Sculptris Pro is going to do. It's dynamically tessellating. So this is going to be driven by draw size, right? So if I go with a smaller draw size, you'll get more tessellation. What that means is it's adding more information, as you can see here, right? And then you can see what you're going to be able to do with this. Okay? So this is very cool to be able to do something like this, right? So that model I just pulled off the website, okay, is something is easy to load. Now over here on the top left, you got an open and save project. Okay, so if I want to go open that one, I just click on the open. It's going to say, hey, do you want to save your masterpiece? At least that's what I think of my head. This is a masterpiece. I'm going to say no, right? And then I'm going to grab, there's the file right there. Okay. Okay, and then now I want to start loading it. So this is going to be able to do several things that you can go with. So you can start from a sphere, which is just clicking on this button here. You can start from a cube, or i.e. a rectangle, okay? Which the nice thing about this, it's going to have already, in essence, like a noise to it. And then to your question, the slash brush, yeah, it's a lot like the Damien standard that you find in ZBrush Core and ZBrush. It's not exactly like that, but it's very similar in the sense you can slash into the surface. Right, so this project's nice because you can just start with a stone, in essence, a stone slab. It's like, you know, the Renaissance days of working. I'm a big fan of using clay buildup to start blocking things in. It's just a really quick way to start working, right? So if I want to start sculpting some kind of, I don't know, face coming out of this, right? You just start blocking this off and start working on it. And let your imagination take over, right? Obviously, that's the fun part about all of us being artists. We're just going to let wherever the sails take us, that's where we're going to go with it. Right? So just start making some kind of maybe head. Start mapping that out. Start figuring out what this is going to be. So let's take, since we're doing gremlins, let's start with the sphere and make like a really quick, like how I would start to do a gremlin. in this version of using the ZBrush Core Mini, and then we'll head back over to ZBrush, the full version, and then we'll get working on like the details of our gremlin. Okay, yeah, this is exactly like the Michelangelo challenge. For those that were here for the summit when we did the Michelangelo challenge, this is pretty much what this came from. Was from that Michelangelo challenge. This is what everybody used to start off from. I'm so sad. You always got to make the sad orbital bone. I find that's really, really helpful. This is becoming like a sad alien now. I'm so sad, right? And then, right? It's really just fun to just sit and throw out some sculpts, you know, and just whatever I can come up with, just start going at it. So I really, really enjoy the process here, right? So, oh, you recommend Mini to a few friends. Right now, it's not possible to do the GIF, the image 3D GIFs or the image 3D PNGs with the full version. We introduced it with this version. So, of course, that's possibly going to be added into the core, into the full version here in the near future. Okay? Ruby, so you're just joining us. This is a new version of ZBrush that we launched just a couple days ago. So this is ZBrush Core Mini. This is a free version of ZBrush that you can get. It's available to anybody that wants to get sculpting. It's a great way to get moving and get into the digital world of sculpting, and also get in the world of the ZBrush family, right? I know for me, when I discovered ZBrush, and I'm like, wow, this is giving me everything I've wanted in a modeling, as a modeling guy. Like, you know, in college I had to do like animations and stuff too, but I always just really enjoyed, like, this is a lot of fun for me, taking like just a sphere and making it, and it's becoming now just this human alien figure that I don't know what I'm doing with, and I'm working on, right? And then you can start all over again. That's the nice thing about Sculptress Pro ability, is being able to start like this. Okay, so again, because it's ZBrush late night, we're going to continue working on this because I really want to get this gremlin done, and I want to talk about CNC machining it, because hopefully I can get this guy CNC machined. If not that, I'm going to 3D print it probably in FDMs, and I've already prepped my wife. Said I'm going to, in my office here, outside, I'm going to attach a bunch of gremlins, like, hey, they're hanging out, kind of protecting my guy. I would probably not do this on a 3-axis CNC. It'd probably be more like a 7-axis. What I would really like to do is actually print in wood. And I'll show you when we go back, and I'll show you kind of where my mind is going, because I want to do like 2 different shades of wood. Like, I want to do his skin in one shade, and some of the other parts like the eyes and the shoulder plates and all his teeth and all the spikes in like a different wood. I think it would be cool to see that. It's just something different. Because I'm so used to doing other 3D prints. So I want to do something different and do that in wood. Yeah, you can absolutely make this hollow if you want. Remind me, Mr. Sanson, and I'll show you how we would go about making this hollow. Okay? We're not going to have the ability to make hollow in the ZBrush Core Mini, but we can definitely make this guy hollow. Okay? So, once again, for those that are just joining me, okay, I'm going to first start my stream with playing a little bit with ZBrush Core Mini, which we just announced, we just launched this week. So again, you can come here to zbrushcore.com/mini. Okay, that's the home page here. I'll put that actually for those that maybe have never tried it yet. We can go in there. Yeah, I'm planning to show Joe how to do 3D printing. I know Joseph Drust did a 3D printing on his stream a little bit ago with his 4th installment of the Proco streams he did. So there's the link to the webpage that I'm at right now, so you guys just have it right there. Okay? So since we're going Gremlin World, let's go back into this, and I'm going to start with the sphere. Okay? And let's go ahead and just start making like a gremlin in here, right? And then we'll bounce back over into the full version of ZBrush. So he's got to be a little bit like that, and then yeah, all right. Just get a general shape. Just start moving around some stuff. Just a little bit wider. I'm looking at my reference again. I've got my own little gremlin here that I'm kind of looking at again for those who don't know. So I'm kind of using that as my reference guide here, just to quickly base out the head shape that I'm going for this guy. All right, so we got something. Again, I'm a big fan of the clay buildup brush, so I'm going to start putting in some brows. And again, the larger the brush size you go, okay, the bigger the triangle is going to be. The smaller brush size you go, the smaller the triangles are going to be. I'm going to use snake hook a lot probably for this, especially for the ears. It just makes sense. It's going to be an easy way to do the ears. And then obviously I'm going to use a lot of move brush. I'm a big fan of the move brush for sure. It's probably every one of us are using that brush, especially those that maybe have never been here before. So I'm just going to start blocking out. I got to get used to. I'm so used to using my hotkeys for my brushes. That's the only thing I got to get used to when I'm in this version, is I don't have my hotkeys for my brushes. So let's block this out a little bit more. I'm going to switch to the old handy dandy move. Again, see, it's just a simple brush to start blocking some things out. I'm looking at his profile view. He's got to have a nose. Got to give him a big enough mouth. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Something like this. And just start moving around pieces. That's all I'm looking to do right now. Just so it gets some bone, quick structure. I'm always thinking about the bone structure when I'm doing this. I just think you should be doing that regardless. You should always thinking about bone structure when you're sculpting, in my opinion. It's just going to make things a lot easier for you when you start working on items, right? So I would recommend thinking in that sense as well. Always think about some bone structure in your model. So I'm just going to quickly put in a mandible, or i.e., jaw line. Okay. You can't poly paint in this version of the mini. You can change the color, and we can look at them in a different color. So if I want to put them in the green, we can look at them in a green. But there's no poly painting available in the ZBrush Core Mini. So there's no embedding of color at all. So it's just, it'll save a project. And then if you're going to save out the 3D imaging, this will all save like this, but there's no poly painting. So there's no embedding of the color actually on the model, Mr. Sanson, so you know. So let's start doing some snake hook. Okay, let's go ahead and start giving him some ears. And then, I'm going to go away from the green. And it's just because I know when I started the last one, I don't want it to look like Yoda. Because I'm trying to do a gremlin dude here. So his ears would come out like this, let's say. And then let's give him a lot more ear that way. And then I want to push this in, give a little suction. And then let's smooth that back, start giving me a little bit more polygons is what I'm doing. What is nice too, and remember this Sculptures Pro mode is available in ZBrush, it's available in ZBrush Core as well. Oh, my project with my ground from the streams, what about it? You're asking me, can I embed the color? Just, yeah. Yeah, I can, all the paint that I started playing with the last stream, all that would embed and be in the model for sure. 100%. Because you have the ability to poly paint in there, right? So it'd be cool if some of you guys want to start going downloading this mini, and that scene I just shared with you on ZBrush Central. Again, put some models up there, and if you guys got something you put up there and you want me to pull it up even in this stream, we can do that. That'd be a lot of fun. That's what Joseph was doing in his stream when we announced it. That's what him and I were planning to do in our stream together. But things did not work out. Joseph kicked me out He said, you're no good. No, but so we can do that with this stream too. So so you can see I'm just quickly, I'm gonna throw that slash in now, just kind of refine some of these shapes. I'm gonna go smaller, get myself a little more details. I found, like, for the gremlin, doing a little bit of this wiggliness to my stroke, so not just being so straight like that, worked really well for this guy. So I really liked what I would get from it. So again, let's give him a little, he needs this. Let's see, we're looking at the front. Okay, he's got also a built up brow back here. So give him a little more volume right here. Yeah, there. God, I think I've been having a lot of fun, honestly, sculpting a gremlin. I would probably do more if I had the time. So let's just give him some simple eyes right now. And Mini's not going to have the ability for subtools, so I'm doing everything all in one mesh. And right now I'm just trying to block out parts of where some of his major anatomy would go, and then taking a look at that, making sure we're not too far out enough. I think I need to pull that brow a little bit more, so let's adjust this a little bit more and go with a little bit bigger draw size so we can smooth that back. This is what's nice about Sculptris Pro, is it's so easy to push things back and kind of like start over. Like, you can kind of use it as an eraser in an essence. Okay, so that's pretty cool to be able to do that. Yeah, Mr. Sensen, if I'm in the full version or ZBrush core version, if you're using some poly paint, okay, yeah, if I save out a ZTL or a project, they're gonna get that paint for sure. What's your question about masking specifically? Can you expand upon that a little bit more? About what you mean, does masking work the same? Are you referring to in the ZBrush Core Mini? ZBrush Core Mini does not have masking. Again, our target here and our idea here is, can people get into sculpting this way, right? Is this going to be a great way for them to start going, which we're pretty happy about, and I think it is. I know Joseph was talking about his kids getting involved. My daughter likes to sit on my lap. She would even play in the full version of ZBrush. So this just makes it easier for her to start going at things, right? So our goal here is to get people to join the digital revolution of sculpting on a computer, right? Because all this is just a different medium. That's all we're doing here, right? We're still all artists. You know, we all have different backgrounds probably, whether we started, you know, really honestly, I didn't start as a sculptor per se as a child or anything. It wasn't like, I was not big into carrying around like clay and having all that. Like, don't get me wrong, I played with some Play-Doh, like every kid probably. But I was way more adamant of a drawer. And I think what changed for me was Jurassic Park and Terminator 2. When I saw those two movies, I said, what is this? This is so cool. And I was like, I got to get into this. I want to get into digital. That's where I'm really intrigued. So that's really, honestly, I didn't start until then. You're talking, that was my high school years, to date myself. Because, what was that? Terminator 2 was right before my high school, so that was middle school. So Terminator 2, I want to say, is 91, and Jurassic Park was like 93. And I started high school in 93? Yeah, 93. So, those movies changed my life, man. I will never, ever forget those movies. They will always be near and dear to me. It put me where I'm at today. So, c'est la vie. C'est la vie. C'est la vie. Alright, so the brow needs to come down more like that. And the top one, let's give them a little bit just like us. We got a little bit of bone structure right here. It is a gateway. It is a gateway. 100%, right? You get lost. You know, look at me just right now doing this stream at 11 o'clock at night for me, right? But morning, and some of you, I know, Mr. Sensen, you said, right, you're in Brazil and it's 2, 3 in the morning. And it's dedication, man. That's awesome. I don't know what to say for the fact that you're up with me right now. That's just incredible. I know there's a lot of other ones of you right now in this stream, just chilling. So, again, I'm using the ZBrush Core Mini right now to just kind of map some things out. I can throw this up on that page if you guys wanted to pull it up once I get it to a point where I think it's somewhat reasonable, halfway decent at least. I'm far from that being halfway decent right now, but we can share it. That's the beauty of this, is being able to share these, and then you guys can take my gremlin and go from there, make it better, make your own gremlin that you want. So let's build up the nose a little bit here. It's got to have a little bit more nose. Yeah, freedom. Go to that little slash again. Go to smaller. Just start putting in a little bit more detailing through where I want. Alright, that's a little much in there. Okay, and let's go back to my clay buildup. Then we need his surface structure here to build up for his mouth through here. Alright, this definitely needs to come out a lot more through here. Gotta put a little bit more bone in that. They got very different, more bone structure, right? Gotta make sure you're moving around a lot. You know what's really nice about this too, I'm finding, like, you know, for sculpting, whether you're hard surface or you're organic, for me, I think the most important stage is the beginning stage. That first 20% of sculpting is so crucial. You'll land so much. It doesn't matter how cool I make his skin at the end of the game, or all the scales I might be putting in him. If I don't have proper proportions, if I don't have good bone structure that makes sense, that's going to stand out to you, the user, immediately. You're going to see that and go, something's off. So what's nice about this sculpture, this ZBrush Core Mini, is I think that's really what it's also stemming down to. I'm really just focusing on making it look like just a gremlin in essence, right? I'm not getting leveraged up on too much of the big details. I'm just, you know, figuring out what I want this to look like. Yeah. Yeah, there. And I think that's just, it's so important. It's going to make, and it's just for me, I had my own epiphanies where I would be like, I like to call it dirtying the sculpt or mucking the sculpt. I'm sure you guys all had it where, like, you're kind of sculpting and then it's like all of a sudden it's 2 hours later and you're like, okay, it looks nothing different than when I started. That's a sign that you should probably walk away and sculpt another day, or maybe go watch a movie or a TV show or something and then come back to your piece, right? Because you're just not visually seeing what's wrong with what's going on. In high school, what was I drawing? Man, I was drawing anything I could. I took some AP art classes in high school, actually. And my high school in Western New York actually had one of the best photography branches in all New York State at that time. And so I got really into photography. So I was doing a lot of photography. We had dark rooms. We were doing color. We were doing black and white. And I had 2 years in advanced art, which was pretty much supposed to be prepping you for college. You had to submit a whole portfolio and everything. But that was all drawing. There was only like a couple sculpting things I did. So it's kind of weird to me how I switched gears. And I'm going to be honest with you, it was ZBrush that made me switch my gears too. It wasn't just only those movies. The minute I saw ZBrush at SIGGRAPH, I want to say SIGGRAPH, I'm trying to think, maybe 04? Somewhere around there, because I've been using ZBrush for about 16 years, 15 years, something like that. So, yeah, there. Happy little trees. Let's give him a little neck, because I think that'll help get my anatomy a little bit better. Okay, so again, easy. Just throw this in clay buildup. So do we have anybody joining us right now that has never seen ZBrush or used ZBrush? Do we have any other new people? I know we had one person when we first started. I'm just intrigued what we got, who we have in this stream. I know we've got some regulars, which is just awesome that you guys are everyone's joining me on this circus ride of a ZBrush at night. So that's honestly, truly, that's amazing. I'm honored that you guys would want to spend some more time with my crazy wackiness. I don't know why you would, but welcome to the craziness. That's me. Alright. Okay. 2013, Jason Martin's presentation at SIGGRAPH. James, it's not possible to mask inside ZBrush Core Mini. No, there's no masking. All right, yeah. All right, let's go ahead. It's got a ways to go. It's starting to get there. It's starting to become a little bit of a gremlin. It's not amazing, but we're starting to make something that is resembling a little bit of a gremlin. We're going somewhere. That's that much I do know. Where we're going, I don't know, man. Don't try. I never know where I'm going. I just go. Yeah, there. And then, yeah, this brow needs to come way more down. That brow line right there, I think is. And then having this. Yeah, there you go. Let's see how that's looking. It's looking better. And then I've been putting spikes on mine, like in the full version. Right? So I'll throw some spikes on this guy too. And then I'll put them up on this page again. And then you guys can download this and make this look better than what I am doing right now. For sure. But I think it's all a discovery, right? Of what we're doing. Oh boy. Let's actually dig in. I find making cavities for eyes is actually pretty crucial. This is the part where I miss having a subtool, but that will make things a little more complicated. Just looking at the proportions right now, seeing if I really have things lined up right. Okay, so let's save this out so you guys can see this saved out, and then some of you could even, if you want to, go poll on this and start working on this a little bit more. Now I just look like angry. Giovanni, you really enjoying ZBrush Core Mini? That's awesome. Mr. Kyle, you're up. I'm using the ZBrush Core Mini for the beginning, but I really want to finish my gremlin, so I'm definitely going to go back into ZBrush, the full version, i.e., it's not called Pro, but I'm going to just call it more of a pro level, more advanced level now. Now, especially now that we've got ZBrush Core Mini, and full ZBrush. So there's many ways that we can get into. Anybody else? All right. Okay, so God, it's a really bad gremlin right now. Okay, so saving this out, I can just use the shortcut. I can actually prep this for 3D printing as well. So I have a button right here. This is what will allow you to export an OBJ. This is the only thing we're allowing to export. There's absolutely no importing in ZBrush Core Mini. So none of that's possible. It's only exporting and saving. So I can export an OBJ with this icon right here, which looks like a 3D printer. I can save an image right here, and then over here is your folders for loading and saving. So let's save out my gremlin here. Gremlin, and let me post it in that ZBrush Central, and then some of you guys can go grab it. So again, I'm in ZBrushCentral right now.com. For those that have never been there, why not? Okay. No, you can't import. You can't import anything, but you can load a which is new. It's called, we came up with this idea of image 3D GIF or an image 3D GIF or image 3D PNG, which that image is storing the actual model, right? So again, coming back here, I do this save as, you have your options right here, right? So either an image 3D GIF, image PNG, or just a ZBrush project, okay? So I'm just gonna click on the GIF, okay? And I'm gonna call it a gremlin, save it. Yeah, I'm gonna replace it. And then now that's a GIF image that is hosting the actual model information. So I'm gonna come here on ZBrushCentral.com. I'm gonna put it in this thread right here, right? So I'm gonna reply to this thread, and then let's put that up. I gotta log in. That's usually helpful. I'm not logged in right now. So there's my username, so you guys can see my username. And my password's ... Okay, so let's go ahead and reply. Someone make this gremlin look better. Okay, and then I'm just going on my other monitor. I'm just going to launch my Windows Finder in essence and go to where my file is saved, which I put it on my desktop. Did I not? Let's see. Just where I put it on my desktop. Did I not? Was I not paying attention? I see the PNG. Did I put it somewhere else? I could have sworn I saved it on my desktop. Am I not seeing it? Hold on. Where did I save it? Save as. Oh, my documents. Ha! Paul, I'm going with the late night, man. I'm going with late night. So, again, I'm going to just click and drag my gremlin GIF over here, right? So drag that in, okay, let it upload, it's done, and then there you can see it, right? And this is telling you that it's an actual 3D file. I just reply to the thread, and now you can all go grab this file and load it in your own ZBrush Core Mini, okay? I like it, Mr. Sanson. It's a good guess for the password, but no. Right? So this is, we wanted to give this ability to really easily pass along files more quickly than just having an actual OBJ or STL. So you can either do it by a PNG or a GIF. Obviously the GIF is going to have moving snow, as I like to call it. The PNGs will look more like, I think there's one up here on the top. No, that's just a JPEG. Could have swore I saw one earlier. Right, here you go. This is a PNG one, right? So this is what a PNG one will look like. And then all your GIFs ones will have the snow or background, right? And this is only for Mini. Yeah, it's possible for it coming to the full version. I can't say for sure, but you know, you never know. No, he's just looking more like oh god, he needs a lot of love. Someone please download that file and do a better gremlin in Mini than what I've been doing tonight. This is just pitiful, especially after I've been working on a gremlin. Just pitiful. Well, I need more jaw too here. He doesn't have enough build up here. See, bone structure, people. So important. So important. This is definitely a Lisa needs braces moment. Lisa needs braces. Lisa needs braces. Right? Get some bone structure in there. Right? That'll help me land everything that I'm trying to land through here. And I'm going to get rid of this smile just to give a little bit more volume through the face here. Needs more volume here. More volume here. And then this structure needs to come over here. So again, I'm just using ZBrush Core Mini to do a quick little block out, right, of a gremlin. And then we'll head over to the ZBrush 2020.1.4 in the very first edition. The grandpa of ZBrush, the original ZBrush. There you go. Yeah. It's getting somewhere. It's starting to happen. The snake hook will definitely help us, you know, throw in a little bit of what's haps on there, on that jaw a little bit, kind of break up that jawline a little bit. And then putting spikes on, snake hook's awesome for this, right? You could just pull on some spikes if you want to through here, and then some spikes through here, right? And then I put on some spikes through here as well. So maybe just throwing a couple different variations in here. Switch that old slash. Now I want to accent that a little bit more, so I'm going to dig in so it looks like it is digging into some skin on him. And then throw a little bit of clay buildup and start making that skin have some buildup right through here. Definitely want him to feel like that's breaking through his skin. It's crucial. Right, so this is what I mean by the bone structure and setting things up. Like something like this, you know, I wouldn't start doing until I'm really got everything, proportions, and everything done. Right? It's I can't stress it enough how important it is. See, now I'm just getting lost in sculpting. This one's too big. I don't like how big this one is. No. Back up. Back it up. Whoosh, whoosh, back it up. At this point, I'm just like, just be art. Be something cool, please. God, be good. Go, run out there. Thanks, Marty. Not really, but I wanted to do something in the ZBrush Core Mini at the beginning of my stream here. We're going to head over now to the full version of ZBrush and start to work on that, because I really want to get that one done, and then start also doing the to the point of 3D printing. So I'll just add a little bit more elements to this, and then we'll save this one out too as a GIF. Then you guys can go and grab that one. Again, if you guys are during this stream, you're sculpting something in Mini, and you want me to pull it up and take a look at my Mini, that would be awesome. That'd be a great way to just have some fun together. You know, you guys are all here with me, so we might as well be doing this stuff together. Now, this is definitely when I want to start breaking some symmetry. Just get some quickness, wrinkling in here, in his neck. It's got a very small jaw. That needs a lot more jaw. Definitely a lot more jaw. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we're starting to get a little bit more gremlin-like. Starting to bring him alive. Yes! Listen, I didn't say I can, you know, this isn't Broadway for me. I don't know why I'm singing. Just go with it. Just have fun with it. You're here with me. Let's just keep going. Well, I have the Simpsons because I have a bunch of little graphics here, because I like to use this graphic to tell you, like, hey, pay attention. I'm going to tell you something important for those that know me. This is kind of my stuff. And then this is another one of my favorites. Look up here! Look at me! Look at me! Look up here! Caca! Caca! I'm going to do something for you. And then, you know, we made this version for you, the users. So you can go the 80s version, or you can go the new version, right? So just fun, just some fun stuff I like to do when I'm streaming. It's not like it's anything important. I just like to I am wild and a little bit crazy, so I just like to have some fun when I'm doing this. Alright, 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 alright. Let's put a little indentions in here in his ears. Breaks that up a little bit. I really liked using the clay buildup to give some texturing in the back of the ear, and just let the brush strokes actually give that texturing, right? And then I pushed it back a little, like very lightly. Like I found this to be a really beautiful soft skin technique, right? It really starts to look pretty cool this way. Just break up. Oh, that's too much. I don't want that much. Break it up, break it up. Yeah, now we're starting. All right, let's save this one out, and then let's get into ZBrush and start working on the other gremlin. That's in the ZBrush version. Yes. Yeah, there. I'll let you guys now play with this. The Three Amigos was an amazing movie. A wild and crazy guy. A crazy guy. Taking this into ZBrush 2020, yeah, you can take this as a project. I have to save a project and throw it in ZBrush. I can't do the opposite. I can't take something from ZBrush and put it in Mini. I can take something from Core and just open it in Mini, but then I'll only be able to still sculpt only on one subtool, because obviously in ZBrush Core, you have the ability to sculpt on multiple subtools as well. So I can't stop looking at stuff that's wrong in this and then just wanting to fix it. Like I just can't get away from it. Yeah, there you go. There. All right, all right. Let's see. I want the ears to have a little more volume to them, and they should come closer to his head. And let's make these a lot bigger. Let's make them have big ears like me, man. Car doors are open. Yeah, let's make the ears be a lot more going on. Yeah. Those are ginormous ears now. Ginormous. Just huge ears. Why not? All right, let's save this out. So I'm gonna save this as a Gremlin 2. Let's put this on my desktop this time. Gremlin 2. Save that. Again, let's go back to ZBrush Central so you guys are able to get it. So again, I'm just going to the home page of ZBrush Central for you all, and right here, there's the iMage 3D Community Expo. So click on that, and let's reply. And another pass on the Gremlin. Which, by the way, too, we did an update already to ZBrush Core Mini today. So for those that have it, you guys probably were told by the application that there's an update. I would definitely go ahead and update to that because I'm in that version. I'm in the ZBrush Core Mini 2020.1.6. The release one that we released on Wednesday was 2020.1.5. So you want to get in definitely the new one. There it is, Gremlin 2. Let me populate that. Let it upload. And you can put this anywhere, but just keep in mind you don't want to recompress this or anything because we're doing stuff with this. This is in essence a special GIF format and a special PNG format. And so there we go. So there's the first one, and you can see we can even see the difference right there. So there you go. You guys can definitely start. There's, like I said, people have been sharing in here some models they've been doing. It's a very fun way to share files. It's just cool to be able to see it. and see what it's going to be, then go from there. Oh, you didn't update your RoboCop? Your RoboCop was awesome. I was watching during the stream. It was pretty cool. I loved it. Okay, so I'm going to go now into full ZBrush and start working on this guy again and really start thinking about what I want to do with him. So I think I'm going to turn off. We'll keep the layers on here. And let's see what we got. Alright, perfect though. Oh yeah, let's see. Oh, even worse. Just seeing what I have in here. I'm gonna smooth these back a little bit. I don't like how much they're standing out. I'm gonna make them less noticeable right now. They're distracting me. Okay, so the head is obviously where we left off last time. I've turned off my layers so you can see all the scaling. We talked about that. I want to start working a little bit more on his back, his shoulders, okay? And start going from there. Again, I always like to put a little bit where we're sitting here, so we'll put him like that. He's a little too much. It's a little much. It's a little much. Let's see. Let's put him right there. And let's put the back right there. So it's just a great little referencer of like where I was and then where I'm going with this guy. Okay, so I want to put, I think I want to put some spikes through here, like kind of going down his scapula. I think I want to play with that a little bit. So again, I can sit and start playing on this, and this has got some layers, so I'm just going to bake them all for now. So start working on what I want this to do and what I want to have happen in here with this, right? So I'm going to also, let's bake all these for now. Change my lighting up again. I'm going to throw in a secondary light along the top here. Again, I like to work with my second light to have some color in it. Whether you're going to go warm, it's really up to you. And it might help if I select a material that can take on the light, which you got to select a standard material. And I want this light to be a rim light, so I'm going to click on this little circle here, this little dot for the light, and make it be a rim light. I think there's too much blue. Let's kick it back some more. Okay, let me see. Yeah, it helps me catch things. Like, that's nice in there that I normally wouldn't maybe see. So this is why sometimes I like to add a rim light, especially when I'm sculpting. It's only going to be beneficial for me. And like I said, there's a lot of times I stay in more the warm color. I kind of like the warm color more. Especially with this gray, I think it looks better. And it'll help me catch things. So how I'm making the reference images on the right side and just plopping, all I'm doing is just plopping them down to the document. So you just position your model wherever you want, and then you hit Shift S, and that's dropping the model to the document, which our document has the ability to have 2.5D. So that's all I'm doing. So I just kind of wanted to put it there so I can see where I was, and then where I'm going is a fast way. Okay, John? You want them more visible, the red blue line, so these axis points here. So yeah, we're already doing it, people. We're going on some tangents. We're going on some tangents. Okay? So to play with that floor grid, it's in your draw palette. So the draw palette is holding the floor in your camera. So right here you have your floor. All right? So in this section right here is all my floor settings. If I open up my modifiers, there's an opacity control here, so you can see I can make the floor stand out more. I can kick it way back so the floor almost disappears if I want. Okay? And then your lines, what you're going to be able to do, okay, is play with your axis points right here, so you can actually make them longer right here. So maybe this is also going to will help you, is having the lines here where you can change the size of them. But you got an opacity control, which is going to also bump your floor up as well, as you can see. But you can change your floor color, right? So like right here, see this grid color? If I click and drag the document, you can see it pretty much disappears, right? I can make it orange. I can make this any color I want, right? So it's your world, man. It's your world. There. Happy little trees. Happy little trees. So in the draw palette, that's all you're doing. Go down to this modifier section within the floor palette, and then you got an opacity control, and then you got an axis line right there. And then, John, you had to clear those images. Yeah, it's just Control N. You're right on that. You're right on the head. Yep. Okay. So now let's go ahead and start playing with his back a little bit here. I want to put some spikes through here. So I've got a body here, right, that I've obviously been sculpting on. So I'm going to duplicate this body, and I'm going to look at only this body. And I have subdivision levels on it. I don't need the 3 million to do what I'm about to do. So I'm going to knock this way down. I just don't want to lose majority of the model's silhouette and form. So, and then I'm going to delete the subdivision levels. So something more like this, right? And I'm going to put some spikes on him. Okay? So I'm going to use, you can use, if you want to, multiple things and try it. I'm just going to insert like some shapes. So I'm just going to use the insert mesh here, and I'm going to grab a sphere, right? And I'm going to say, okay, this, and then I can have that kind of look to it. Now, this is sitting right on the surface. That's not what I want to do. Okay? Thanks, man, for the. Thanks for telling me. I didn't. Hey, anything I do to keep you up right now, okay? Or unless it's the afternoon for you, wherever you are in the world, okay? Is that Ugyamili? I can't see the whole name. One of these days I'll get a new monitor. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the brush palette. Okay, this is definitely one of these. This is definitely one of those Lisa needs braces moments, and I'm gonna go to the depth. And by default, this sphere is set to 100 for the embed value. So if I put this to 0 and I draw, you can see now half the sphere is sitting inside the surface and half the sphere is sitting outside the surface. This is actually what I want. I want the spheres to be sitting a little bit out, okay, and a little bit in. So what I'm going to do also is when I'm doing this, I'm going to pull down and then pull back. And what that's going to do is stretch these out. So I want them to be more on an angle like this, maybe. And then now I have the masking. Just want the spikes to be a little bit more like this. Okay. So we can keep doing it this way, right? Where I'm adding one at a time, right? But this might not be the workflow that you're looking for. That's why you might want to add them based upon a brush. Okay? David, I'm glad you can't. Well, if you can't sleep, David, I'm glad you're here with me. Right? So this is an easy way of doing it. Just keep adding, right? A little bit of some structure through there. You know what? I'm gonna bring them more along this line right here. This line right here I'm preferring. So I want to put up there, 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 and there. Let's go a little bit bigger. Yeah, that looks good. And now I just want to reposition them a little bit. Okay, and if with the gizmo selected, okay, you can see if I hold down the control key and click on the spheres, they are selected. Okay, and the reason why I did the duplicate of the body is I can't draw in subdivision levels. So in essence, I'm just using the body as my placement area. They're not actually, that's it. And I'm now going to delete this body. Okay, thanks Ash. Thanks for coming in. I'm glad you think my gremlin's cool. My goal is trying to get this done. So now I have these, and now I can just delete this. So in essence, instead of worrying about, right, this gremlin guy and drawing him and he's got subdivision levels, I just duplicated it so I can just pretty much do these spikes that I want. So now these are my back spikes that I want to start putting on here. So for me, this was important because I want to first just kind of lay down where these are going to be. And I'm going to come out of symmetry mode because I don't want these to be the same everywhere, right? I want them to be a little different. I think the snake hook would be great for this, but I actually like using also snake hook 2 because snake hook 2 is going to pull along the normals, where snake hook is doing screen dependency. So I'm just going to maybe, let's go a little bit bigger. And I'm going to throw on the Sculptris Pro because it's a quick way to, that's a little aggressive. Yeah, something like that. I like that better. Let me pull on this. Yeah. Just giving a little bit more something back here too. Especially since, like I said, I'm planning to CNC print this, hopefully, is my goal. Again, it's a dream I have of, I always say I'm going to do things and then life takes over. So I don't like this one. Let's reposition this a little bit more. Yeah, like that better. And now dial it back. Yeah, there. Much better, much better. Just giving some variations to them in here. Get some width going through here. And again, everybody, fire away any questions you might have. You know how we like to go on tangents when I stream. Right now, I'm just going for it. Yep, AAA's in the house. One of our regulars, Ashley Adams, in here with us. She's an amazing artist. She's streaming on our channel here all the time. Ash, thanks for joining me. It's like 2 in the morning your time right now. What are you doing up? You can say you were playing a video game, weren't you? Were you playing a video game? It's okay. Or were you sculpting? Which one was it? It's a 50-50. Yikes. I don't like that one at all. Let me reposition that a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, that's better. Yeah. Okay, and now that I have these all kind of like separated the way they are, what's great for me is once I'm done kind of this, I can still do some more messing around with them. And I like to use a particular brush for that. And I like to be able to rotate these and play with these. So what I'm going to do is in my polygrouping here, okay, so right now they're all the same. So I'm going to hit this auto group so they all get different polygroups. So every time you click it, each shell gets its own. Nice. Check those invoices. Working, right? The midnight oil. I'm a midnight oil kind of guy. I like to work the midnight oil myself when I'm working on something, especially when I get in a rhythm. I don't even realize what time. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, oh my God, it's 3 in the morning. What am I doing? So I'm good with this. I'm going to go ahead and now we're going to Z-remesh this up. which is just one click of the button, and I know that's simple enough. Okay, and these are all, again, different polygroups. So now what's beauty is I can use things like this gizmo, right? So I can say control click, and then now I can move this one around a little bit, maybe reposition it down here, and then control click this, reposition this, maybe change the rotation. I'm going to center it, just putting it somewhere a little bit different, and maybe follow where I want it to go. Yeah, this one I'm going to move here. This one I'm going to rotate and move that one there. I want to follow a little bit more of this structure that I have going through there. Okay. This one over here, let's move that one. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be so much fun to have him be done and see what he's going to look like. Yeah. It's going to be good times. Put him with my original gremlin that I have from Gremlins 2. That'll be cool. That'll be, here's the Gremlins 2. And here is my rendition of my gremlin. Okay. Okay, so, alright, I'm liking those. I like where they're positioned. So, I want to make it, again, like the skin. Okay? I want that to kind of look like it's breaking through the skin on him. Can you remind me where in the option that is lowering poly count while moving for smoother navigation? Totally forgot. That's going to happen automatically. So when you start rotating, we automatically drop. So you can see the body. He's becoming dropping. That's done automatically. You just have to make sure you have subdivision levels. Okay, on the body. Right now I'm on the spike sub tool. So I have to go up to the body, which now I'm on the body, right? And you can see this has 5 subdivision levels. So when I start moving, it'll actually do that. Now, you could also be referring to over here in the solo mode, which now I'm just only looking at the body, right? What you can also do is turn on this dynamic. So I'm going to turn on the magnifier. Let's see, can you guys see it? So down here. So where that actually is in the transform, so that you guys can see it, excuse me, see it better than down there where I have it, okay, because my my stuff is blocking it. Okay, so you want to be able to, while you're moving, you can actually solo things out while you're moving. Okay, so right here's the solo button, and then this word dynamic that's in the solo button. So you can see you can click on it and it becomes brighter white. And when it's this is pretty much on. So what that tells ZBrush is also when I rotate, hide all the other subtools while I'm navigating and then bring them all back. So this is why you see like my head and everything else flashing, because the only thing I have selected right now is the body, right? So then the body always stays on. So that's what that dynamic also will do for you. So maybe that'll help you as well. Okay, does that help your question for you? Oh, are you upbeat music now? What's the music change to, Ashley? Yeah, no, it doesn't need to be turned on. It's just you have to have subdivision levels. That's all. Okay. So again, I want to be on the body here. I'm only setting about 3 million. He's got more on him, so now I'm going to turn off Sculptris Pro. I don't want Sculptris Pro on this. And I'm just going to start. Now, what's nice about this and why I put the spikes first is ZBrush will not let me sculpt in the middle of these spikes now. So because this subtool is here, right? So it looks like I can start building up the surface, and it already starts to look like these are, like it's coming out of his skin. And that's really what I want. I'm going to start bulking up, right? And again, the important part for me is here's I'm really in close, right? So it is pretty faceted. It doesn't look amazing right now. Oh, and I have symmetry on. So you can see the difference right over here. You can see what's happening right there. In fact, I might still have, let's see if I still have it. I don't have a mark target on there still. Okay, and so I like to push this back just a little bit, right? And then pull away. And you can see how much different that looks now from a distance. So obviously I need to go and clean this out. And then this is why I like to work in subdivision levels. I can walk down and kind of clean that up a little bit more. And then there, that's gone. And then it'll be gone on the other side. Right? Because right now I'm working in symmetry mode. So really I should be out of symmetry mode. And then just start. I'm going to keep that there. Okay, perfect. Right? So I just like to use clay buildup. Just kind of make it look like there's some skin that's being built up around these. Maybe, you know, there's skin going this way. And it's meeting this patch of skin that's kind of built up because of these spikes that are coming out of his back. Can't be comfortable, right? And if you want to be able to just continue to look at the spikes, you can turn on transparency, right? And if you have ghost transparency on, you can actually sculpt through the spikes. So that way, because maybe I just want to make sure I build up a little more surface here. So you can do that as well. And then turn off transparency and you can see what I'm getting now. Right? So I like to do a combination of this. And then again, I like to dial it back a little bit. And right now I'm just only hitting it with clay buildup. So I definitely want to start putting some wrinkling through here. Right? Make that skin come to life a little bit more. Right? Alright, alright. And then you gotta learn to pull away a little bit and look and see where you're at from a different distance. And you gotta remember, what are you gonna let the user see? Like how close am I going to, like am I gonna do a render this close to the spikes? Probably not. So should I be spending a ton of time on this? No, I should just sell the point of what I'm trying to get here. Yeah, there we go. Now we're starting to make something happen here. And then I'm going to switch that Damien standard. Yeah, I turned symmetry off because I don't want this to be symmetrical. I'm no longer symmetrical in this model at all. I don't want symmetry anymore. At all. I want asymmetry start to happen here. I'm just going to try and make it look like his skin is being pulled. This is the Damien stand. Holding that Alt key is a great way. And then push it back a little bit with some smoothing brush. And you'll get subtle just pushing pulling of the skin. And that's definitely what I want. Let's add some more accenting parts to this. Alright. And then now I'm just going through this process. Making sure that I get a little bit more. Here, I would definitely want more skin movement happening through here. Because if his arms are moving a lot, there should be a lot of skin movement happening through here. And I'm going to start making some more decisions here on what I want to have happening on the skin. I think a great technique for skin is XYing, so making X's, or like a Y, so you make, in essence, make. This is not my technique. My man Brian Wade showed me this technique. So there's a Y, and then doing an X, right? And when you pull away, you can dial that back a little bit even. That'll start bringing some skin look to your model. And I'm a little overdoing it. I don't want that much. Just want a little bit of just some bubbling up of the skin here. Definitely in the armpits. So I'm just using the Damien standard brush right now to give me this ability to really make it look like there is something going on over here on this side of his body. And you can't be afraid to get a little extreme too at first, because it's not like you can't dial it back. It can always be dialed back if you need to be. You know, if you're not too sure about your strokes, you know, maybe use some layering. I just want to start making it look like there is clearly skin being pulled on this guy. That's all I want to start doing now. So, and then of course I will give this treatment on both sides of his body. So this is, I'm just trying to bring some vertebrae more alive here. Right, and we know that the vertebrae just keeps continuing down the spine, so I'm not trying to get too crazy. And in fact, I think a little bit of this, what I've put in, needs to be dialed back. So I'm going to walk down a subdivision level and just push that back right there. Right, and then really add some more structural in there element. Yeah, there you go. And let's hit it with the Damien standard. Yeah, there. And I know that I got other subdivision levels here, okay? So I know that's going to get smoothed out when I go and get up more levels. So as I walk up a level, right, I'm adding more topology, so this will get smoothed out a little bit more, right? So I got a little bit more like that. So I like what's happening here through the skin here, because again, I'm going to be also putting some other skin details on this guy. So this is all, a lot of this is going to end up being lost and pushed back. So I'm getting a little extreme on purpose, because I'm going to do another treatment, just like I have the scales up here. I'm going to be doing another treatment on his body where there's going to be some kind of scaling happening here. And this is what I mean by that, right? It just gives that feel like there's some skin and some pull. Okay? Yeah, 100%. It's a gremlin from the 80s movies. You betcha. You're gonna make me cry right now. The fact that you knew it was a gremlin, that's important to me. You didn't call it Yoda. So that means I'm doing something right. If you were able to recognize. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Thanks for tuning in. I know there's some people here. Mr. Sanson, did we lose you? Did you fall asleep? I know we have some people in here that it was 1 in the morning. I know for me it's 12. It's past midnight for me here in the West Coast, California area. Where's everyone else from? I'm intrigued. Just I've never done one of these streams this late before for me, my time zone. So I'm just intrigued how many people we have from different parts of the world watching this. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, I like what's going on there. I'm digging it. And those ribs pop a little bit more. Just make this pop a little bit more. Really. Like that skin. Yeah. Oh yeah, like this. You can make such, just subtle, just very soft with this brush. Is a great way, and a small draw size, especially for like the guy I'm doing, just to give those little bit of accent to the skin. Nothing major here, just some quick movements, some quick slashing through his skin to really sell home what I'm trying to accomplish. So yeah, I like what's going on right there. Let me accent that a little bit more. Definitely on this side, I'm going to, let's go a little bit deeper with that. Yeah. Okay, and let's get the other side now of this. John Ford, how's it going, man? Been a long time. You're liking this late night gig? What time is it for you? Hungary, we got someone from Hungary. We got Spain, so it's 9 in the morning. Costa Rica! Tejas, John, you're in Texas, huh? 2:19 in the morning there. Yeah, you're 2 hours in front of me. Man, that's so awesome that you guys were willing to jump in here with me. I really appreciate it. I didn't know what kind of audience I'd get and who would really want to be up at this time of day. I know Europe, it's morning, and in Russia and India and Asia, it's in the middle of the afternoon. So I was hoping to get a collection of people from around the world, because usually I'm streaming at 11 in the afternoon, and obviously this is the first time me trying to do a stream late at night. So again, I'm just trying to make it look like these are being busted through the skin. Okay, and don't forget, I'm gonna have another level of subdivisions for my model. Right, so I'll be putting even more details in this. I'm just trying to make sure I sell that fact that it feels like it's being pulled, like these are being pulled out of the skin. Right, so I need to add this distressedness, if you want to say, to my skin pores, and then push it back a little bit. Right, and then now this is where I start just, okay. Really what's going to happen is something like that, and then slightly push that back. Yes. Things will start to come alive. And you notice I'm doing this kind of in stages. So right now I'm just worried about my clay build-up brush. I'm just using that brush right now to just establish some major folds, some major huge elements that are happening on this guy right now. And again, by having these here, these spikes already on my model, I'm able to create like this distressed skin look. And again, this is the thing that's hard. See all that faceting? I don't get hung up on that, because then when I pull away, see that faceting disappears. And unless I'm going to do this in a render, I'm fine with that. And I know I'm going to go up still another subdivision level, and that's going to get even more smooth. Okay? So, Oleg, actually, since you're bringing it up, we started this stream within a new version, actually, that we just launched this week. That's free. So, if you're new to 3D and you're new to sculpting, you can definitely try whatever you want, but we now have ZBrush Core Mini, which, let me open that up. So we launched a new version since you're just joining us. So we started our stream in ZBrush Core Mini. So right here is a free version of ZBrush. Okay, great way to get into ZBrush and start going. Okay, so it's going to be using our technology of Sculptris Pro to get into it, but it's not free, doesn't cost you anything. Okay, so here's the page I'll put in there since you were asking. If you're just starting out and learning, this is going to be perfect now, this ZBrush Core Mini, for you to just get in, and you're going to start with like a sphere. You can start with a block of like charcoal, and you can see some models that are done in there. And then we've actually been using in here on ZBrush Central, okay, we've been putting models here in the image 3D. Did anybody put anything? Let's see, let's take a look. So no, there's my gremlins I started the stream in ZBrush Core Mini. Okay, so I would recommend that. And there's also ZBrush Core. So in essence, there's 3 levels of ZBrush, okay? So there's ZBrush Core Mini now, which is free. There's ZBrush Core, and then there's ZBrush. Okay. So ZBrush Core and ZBrush, there's even subscription services to them as well. Right? So right now, you could also go the subscription way if you wanted to, right? So just another way of getting something. So you can see ZBrush Core is $9.95 per month or $179.95, and we've given free upgrades for 20 years. And then you can also go to ZBrush. You can go to our website and get the ZBrush right now that I'm currently in, which is the full version of ZBrush. There's also subscriptions for that as well. Okay, so if we come here and we go buy ZBrush, there's also a free trial of the regular ZBrush, so you can see for $39.95 per month, you can get into ZBrush, or $179.95 every 6 months, or perpetually $8.95. So there's many ways to get in to it. There's a big difference between, obviously, the ZBrush Core family, i.e. ZBrush Core and ZBrush Core Mini, and the full Z version of ZBrush. Of course, it's stripped down. If you wanted to, so let me come back here. So ZBrush Core Mini is just pretty much 8 brushes, Sculptris Pro, that's it. There's no painting, there's no importing ability, there's only able to export an OBJ for 3D printing purposes, that's it. So the difference between ZBrush Core, a great place to go for that since you're asking. Okay, so if you come here to 3D software and go to the ZBrush Core page itself, when we launch this, we actually put a comparison page together. Okay, so you can go right here, what's in ZBrush Core, and then right here, ZBrush Core to ZBrush comparison. And let me put that in the chat for you so you have it. So let me reply to you. There you go. That way you got it. So this is where you can go and see what's in ZBrush Core and ZBrush. Okay, this will give you a good comparison sheet of what you can do with between the two of them. Okay? Hopefully that helps you out. If not, that's what we're here for. That's why we're doing ZBrush late night right now. Right? It's for us to have just some fun, some casual conversation, figuring out stuff. And, you know, it's past midnight, so I'm feeding my gremlin. He's got to have just some food. Yeah, there you go. Just kicking that. Let me pull that back. Okay, that's looking good. Now I'm going to hit it with some Damien Standard and just start making it look like there's skin more wrinkling on itself. Again, I'm not really trying to get perfection right now because I know I'm going to go up in subdivision levels. So I think you should be, when you're sculpting on this, you should sculpt as much as you can on the level that you're at everywhere on the model before worrying about going up another subdivision level. So I'm not going to go up another subdivision level here until I've got majority of what I'm looking to do with this figured out. Okay? Because there's no point in me doing that. Alright, yeah, let's do a little skin pull right there. Push that back. Yeah, push that back in, and he definitely needs some skin being pulled from there. Yes. ZBrush Friday night. Yeah, Mr. Sanson, I'm in the LA area. You nailed. That's exactly where I'm in. I'm in that. I'm in the LA area. Yep, that's where I'm at. Yeah. It's just, and now I'm just trying to be a little bit light with my brush strokes, and then just make it look like, obviously things are getting pulled on his skin. Because don't forget, again, I'm going to be going over top of this. So all this kind of that you're seeing right now, a lot of it's going to get pushed away, in all honesty. Okay, because of I'm going to need to start doing a treatment of scales on his back and through his arm, right? So I'm doing this with the mindset of that's going to happen. I think sculpting is like playing chess or like an onion. You're going to just build on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, right? So you got to remember that. Because if you don't, it's going to be difficult to be able to see where you're trying to go with something. So I'm just making sure I put some elements in here that's going. Good resources for learning ZBrush. It's a great question. So where you're at right now is a great resource. As an employee of Pixologic, I'm streaming on here every single week, sometimes more than once a week. We also have other employees like Joseph Drust, Solomon Blair, and also Dice K streaming on this. And then we have a lot of artists. We did have Ashley Adams in here for a minute. I don't know if she's still here watching me do whatever I'm trying to do with this guy right now. But there are other resources for you to use as well that you have. Okay, so do I like that? I don't know if I like what I just did. It's a little too much. I do use alphas, but I'm taking the approach of this guy as more of a learning. So I'm taking kind of the old school. He was made in the 80s originally. So I'm taking like the workflow they would have used in the 80s where they have to hand sculpt things. They didn't have the digital world like we have now. So I'm just going to take this approach for this model. But yeah, I will start using, technically I am using alpha right now. You know, it's giving those nice skin striads or just so that there's some life in the skin there. Is from an alpha, right? So all this is from an alpha. So I'm just pushing things. Just flicking my wrist and pulling back, seeing what I have. Let's accent these a little bit more. A little more clay build up on this part right here. Just want a little bit of accent happening. Yeah, that's a little too much there. I like that one. Okay, because I just want to carry the theme that I'm doing here along this. And then through here. Do I get anxiety? So back to the question. Oh, we got someone from Mexico here too. Okay. So another great place for you to learn, okay, is we have a Z Classroom where we have a bunch of videos that you can go and watch for free. So right here, this Learn ZBrush tab. So I'm just on our website, pixologic.com. So there's free Z Classroom training here. There's third-party training, right? You can find out what schools. There's documentation online. Okay, so you can go to this, and we have projects in here that you can actually follow along. For example, the Get Started one, there's this little shark guy. Like, this is a whole project, kind of from beginning to end. So this is a great way to learn ZBrush, is using something like this, right? Something that's super difficult, but then it's got a great learning curve. That's how you learn a lot, is trying to do something. Okay, so you could go to here. This is a great resource to go to learn some more about how to work in ZBrush. And there's several project-based stuff in here. That's not the only one that's in here. Okay, and then the Z Classroom, you can make an actual login over here. And you can come watch videos, and when you come back, where you left off on the videos will all be in your login. You can look by beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You can look by sculpting, texturing, rendering. So I can come in here. As an example, this is a project right here, building those knives inside of ZBrush. Doing this building landscaping right there. See, there's 6 lessons in there. There's 41 videos in this one just to creating that helmet. There's 11 videos dealing with panel loops. Here is one dealing with environments from a Blizzard artist, showing how he kind of made that one piece right inside of ZBrush. Okay. So this is a great resource for you. I can't say for sure if ZBrush Core Mini will ever be ported to an iPad Pro. Obviously, right now you could use Sidecar, right? I could use ZBrush, ZBrush Core, and ZBrush Core Mini on my iPad Pro with Sidecar if I wanted to. So that's a possibility, for sure, for you. But I couldn't say if a yes or no answer for you, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I can't really discuss what we're doing development-wise. We're always working on something now. That's all I can tell you. There's always something up our sleeves. Yeah, there. I might put some spikes down his spine. Still haven't decided that. I like where these are located. Just giving a little bit extra. I'm liking that. Hey Pablo, welcome. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. I'm just continuing to work on my gremlin, continuing to add some sculptural element to this. Ooh, I kind of, happy mistake right here. I like what happened right there. Yeah, build up the surface right there. Yeah, I like that. Kind of like, yeah, I like that right there. And I'm gonna hit that with the Damien standard a little bit, actually. I want to sell that a little bit more. You know, and a good thing to do, if you guys really want to sell something more, mask something off like this, right? And then switch to, like, I like to switch to the clay buildup. And you can see how I'm getting that lighting there. That's why I like the other lighting. And then now just push it back. And then that's going to create that nice little bit of overlap. And then what's nice to do is switch to the inflate as well. Right? But if you remember, in the brush palette, in the depth, we have gravity ability. So it could be good to also turn on some gravity here. Right? And even with this brush now, it's going to start automatically just pulling, inflating downward. So it's having a downward motion right now on me. So if we switch to another brush, okay, so right now I'm using this brush, this Damien standard. So if I want to put gravity on this brush, I can do that. And then now you can see, like, this is great for, like, think about things like fish skin, like an eel scales, like, see, like that. See, now they're kind of going down, right? Instead of just going straight out. So don't forget about that ability, to be able to play with this gravity. Gravity. Okay? So this is definitely another one of those Lisa needs braces moments. Lisa needs braces. Lisa needs braces. Lisa needs braces. Lisa needs braces, right? To just write this down and remember this. It's relative to, so this is looking at, it's looking at just the world space in essence, okay? So this little pencil looking thing controls your gravity, okay? So now, if I want things to go up like that, and if I start sculpting now with this, you'll see that it's going up. Here, let me switch to a brush that is more noticeable. So we'll throw some gravity on, and I'll put it up. And you can notice that when I sculpt, see, it's trying to push up, which might give you a better result that you're looking for. So that's what it's doing, right? It's looking at, of course, screen, space, and then now you can go to any angle you want. And if you don't want it, you just turn it off. Yeah, I changed my speed. We're trying to ZBrush it late night. So instead of being 11 in the morning, I'm the 11 p.m. is when I started tonight. No, you can post as much as you want. No worries at all. This is a great question, Oleg, about the requirement to draw and use. There's really no worry. Listen, there's a lot of sculptors in ZBrush, honestly, that aren't really strong people to draw. You know, I wouldn't say I'm an amazing drawer anymore. I don't draw as much as I used to. I'm now just really trying to hone my craft in the sculpting world. So I've really been studying just sculpting techniques over the last 12 years more than drawing techniques. I would love to get back into some drawing techniques and learning from some other people, but it's just so hard for me to free up some time, because then I got stuff like this that I'm excited about, making a gremlin. So I really want to get this done. I find if I don't just keep going and plugging away, it'll never get done. And it's going to be another one of those lost sculpts that never ever gets completed. And you know what? I've tired of myself not doing that. I think looking back at this, I don't like how strong that is actually. I'm going to push it back by walking down some levels. There. Be more like that. So I don't think you really need to know anatomy a ton, honestly. Obviously, the more you know anatomy, the easier it's going to get. There's, of course. Elliot Goldfinger's book is a great book for anatomy for sculptors. It is literally anatomy for artists. I would, hands down, that book is, every one of you that wants to learn sculpting and you want to get better at anatomy, this book should be on your shelf. It's probably one of the best anatomy books I've ever purchased in my life. This book right here. I use it a ton. What I love about it, let me get to a good page. I'll pull it up online. So he breaks down, I don't know how well you guys can see it, right? He breaks down the muscles really well. Well, then what's really nice is he shows them in like body movement as well. So you can see the muscles firing and how they're pulling on the body. So again, that's called Human Anatomy for Artists. Let me see if I can find a link real fast for you. So let me do a quick search for you here. I think 100% you should have that book. For artists. Elliot Goldfinger. And here it is. Okay, I've got it here in Amazon. What's it going for right now on Amazon? I'll put it in the chat. It's $47 right now. Let me put it in the chat here for you guys. Looks like I need to reply. Here, I'm just going to reply to this with that book. There you go. Okay? So there's that book for you guys. I think 100% clay sculpting is not a bad idea, right? Even if you just get Play-Doh, man. If you want to stay just cheap, because it's so much harder in clay, and then you'll respect and you'll find things that, hey, man, this is actually a lot easier digitally. And you're going to be able to go a lot further, I think, if you do play with some clay. 100%, I think that does help. I agree with your friend, whoever you were speaking to, for sure. I think going clay is a great way to actually start learning some more about this. I hate to say it, it's like everything. It'll all come. Just don't get discouraged, right? That as an artist, we're so, I don't know what the word is, we're so down on ourselves or with our inabilities in our heads. You got to really step away from that as much as possible, if you can. Because I'm telling you right now, the minute I discover, you know what, the sculpt's not going to be amazing. It's not going to be really good at the beginning of where I am because I'm still just blocking things out. Even like this, I'm not done. And then you know what? A sculpt is never done. It's never done. I'm going to reset all my brushes here because I've been playing with this. So don't forget that, you know, and then just know that, and then just live that then. Just know, okay, and get it to the point where you're like, okay, I'm pretty happy with this, and then move on. Or the hardest part is just making sure you get stuff done, right? And that's why I'm kind of working on this guy in this stream. I really am just feeling this gremlin right now, and I want to make sure I get him done. Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks good. It's coming together. Coming together. Coming together. You know, I should probably save at some point here. Would be a good thing to do. So let me save that. Let's see what number. I like to save in iterations. So right now I'm like number 24 save on this gremlin right now. Oh, the infinite depth is amazing. You know, I didn't think I was going to really dig it as much, but I find myself using it a lot. Theme X, I'm just seeing your question, so I'll come back to that question with the infinite depth. Theme X, if you're still in here, sorry, I just saw your question right now about these examples of the gremlin here. I'm just positioning my model somewhere in the document, okay? And then I'm just hitting Shift S. Someone I think told you already what it is. So Shift S. As in Sam, as in super. And then that'll snapshot, okay, it down. Will I spike the hands? Yeah, I might throw some spiking on. The hands should be more really scaly. I'm putting spikes where like major bone is more bone. Like right here, if you guys all touch this part of your face, right? That's your zygomatic, right? An arch, your zygomatic into your zygomatic arch. You're pretty much, it's mostly just skin to bone right there. So that's where I'm thinking. I'm thinking this guy's got obviously a jawline, so there'll be some spiky bone parts along the top of his brow with bony, and that's why he's putting it by the scapula. That's why I decided to put it there along, like that accents that there's bone there as well. And that's why I decided to do that. And that's why I put some down here. I don't think I'm gonna put any hands. I might put one on the elbow or a little one. I might do that. I haven't made a decision yet for that. What I'm gonna do for that for sure. Yeah, so the difference between others, you know, ZBrush, think about ZBrush more, it's a sculpting application, right? So that's our goal here, is we're making a piece of software, like doing what I'm doing right now. Like, you can go rewatch all my streams of this gremlin. This is like stream number 7 of him. And my very first stream, it was from nothing. So you can go rewatch all the streams, and you can see me build this gremlin slowly through the streams. And so this is more of a sculpting application where it's like having a ball of clay and you can move things around. Other 3D applications, you know, there's CAD-based applications. Those are using more like curves and then lofted surfaces. Then you have modeling applications, which is more like having a box and then adding geometry, which you can do inside of ZBrush as well. But really the guts of ZBrush is all about sculpting. Like, start from a sphere, start from a cube, and then it can become a gremlin. It can become a car. It can become whatever it is. So that's your big difference, is it's just the ability to pull on things. All right, so the infinite depth thing, okay, is pretty important. I'm glad this came up. I know I showed it in one of these streams. I don't remember if it was the last stream. I think it was. Might have been in a different stream. So I'm just going to switch to a move infinite depth. Okay. So the difference here now is when I pull on this, right, I know it's pulling all the way through. So you can see the back part was even being moved as well. So it wasn't just the front of him. Okay. It's also the front and the back being pulled. And so where this cursor is looking for geometry, right? This geometry is sitting out further than where my brush is clicking, right? So I got geometry sitting out, and then my brush is like clicking right here. So this isn't going to move. So when I do this, right, you can see this isn't moving, but that's moving, okay? If I was now get out more, you can see all of it's moving. So if I was, say, to do this, and I start moving this, I know the other side is also moving, even if without symmetry on. If I even didn't have symmetry on, it still would move. Okay? So this is a great way to, in essence, say infinite depth, infinite ability. And you gotta say depth that way. Infinite depth. Depth. I did. I thought three. So there's a move brush, infinite depth. But this can be placed on any single brush. So if I say clay buildup, right? And see how we're doing this, and then I'm sculpting like this. So it's pretty much staying in this area right here. Okay? Now, if I go put on the infinite depth for this brush, okay, by default, it's using the camera plane. So however the model is sitting on the camera, all right, is how it's going to move. Okay, so this is now looking straight ahead at his head. So if I start sculpting like this, you can see it starts sculpting on both sides, right? Because it's seeing what I'm doing infinite depth-wise. So if I start doing this, I know it's going all the way through, right? So if I just start working like this, and I just start building up this surface, I know this is going to happen all the way through the model. So you can see that's being pulled out all the way from where I'm looking at and out. So with that said, you can tell it to have certain axes. So right here in the infinite depth button, there's an X, Y, Z. So you can control that infinite depth ability by the X axis, the Y axis, or the Z axis, right? So if I went Y, why you ask? I don't know, why not? Okay, and then now I have Y on. If I start sculpting, you can see it's going up and down the whole Y. Right, so it's just going right down his whole face right there. Okay, so that's pretty much what the infinite depth is doing. So an infinite depth move is pretty powerful and pretty awesome. I find myself using it a lot, like quite a bit, in all honesty. A lot. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, does that answer that question for you? Okay, perfect, beautiful. Well, you're asking, I've seen working as a 2D artist for years, but stepping into ZBrush and sculpting anatomy has been the best tool for study that I have ever used. Oh, that's awesome. So you're using ZBrush and you're transitioning from the 2D into the 3D and studying it. That's great. I think it is too. I think it's a great way because you're just grabbing a brush and sculpting, right? So it's a great way to start learning some anatomy stuff for sure. You keep having the Gremlins theme. Oh yeah, dude, I can't tell how many times I listen to that soundtrack. Number one, before building this Gremlin. Two, before, right? So, hold on. There was a question about UVing. Paul, do you mind to explain what's the difference for my UV with UV ZBrush newbie here? Big thanks. Okay, Joe, the UVing tools in Maya is a complete UV editor, right? There's all these tools that are distinctly used for editing in the UVs. We don't have that. Really, that's a very technical thing too. Obviously, depending on what you do for a career, you are going to use UVs or you maybe not. I'm not going to use UVs probably once on this model because I don't need to, because I'm just straight up sculpting a gremlin, and then I'm going to print it and 3D print it. I don't need UVs, right? I would only need UVs maybe on this model if I want to quickly put some kind of alpha around him and get going on him. So the UV tool set that's inside of ZBrush is more about just, I want to be able to, like, for example, this head, I just want to put some quick UVs on this, right? So you don't need UVs to sculpt, number one. So I'm going to grab, okay, this is the head. We don't need this one on. We don't need this one on. Okay, so I'm on the head right now, which is 12 million polygons. Okay, so let's just have some fun with this right now. Let's switch to the paintbrush. Okay, there's no UVs on it right now. Let's fill it with like a darker gray. So color, fill object. So now his face is a darker gray. Which sometimes I like working with this dark gray. It really helps see things better. Personally, I like working with a little bit. This is a little too bright for me. I prefer working a little bit more in that darker tone. Maybe even something like that. Okay, so let's just now just have some fun with this. Let's just paint his lips red. I'm doing this on purpose just so you're going to be able to see where things are going. Lipstick. Okay, and let's paint around his eye green. Okay, and let's paint his nose purple. He is becoming a clown. All right, and then let's throw some blue on the ears. Just being really quick about it, just so you can get a visual understanding. Okay, so if you're going to use another 3D application like something like you bring it up like Maya with their UVs, again, they have a full suite of UV editor. That's not our goal. Our goal is, hey, we're an artist, I'm a sculptor, I just want to be able to paint, I just want to be able to do things, turn a gremlin into a clown. That's what I'm doing. Make something, you clown! Okay? So, now that I have this is paint being applied. If I want to apply it to, say, something like a texture, I need to have UVs on it. Okay, so this is sitting at 12 million. So I'm going to walk down to the lowest level, in essence. Okay? This is where you want to make UVs if you're going to make UVs. You don't want to be doing it on 12 million polygons. That doesn't make sense. So in ZBrush, we have a UV map section here. Okay, and you can hit create, and there's different ways to create. So I'm just going to use the PUV right now, which is packed UVs. Okay, and this goal of this is trying to make UVs that take up as much space as possible with no stretching. Okay, so now if I walk up a little bit more subdivision levels here, and I come down to this texture map, you can see now things are available. If I hit new from paint, you can see what it does. And this is why I was doing the crazy colors. All this UV layout is in. A computer will understand this, but we cannot visually look at this very well and see like a smiley face, right? Or see the ears. Okay? So this is just a very fast way. Like if I'm an artist that I'm not worried about in a production pipeline when you see my UVs, this is perfect. One click button, bam, they're there. The quality's perfect. And I'm using almost 99% of the UV space, which is really important. Okay? Right now I couldn't say if the other UV tool is going to come out, Peel UV. I couldn't say. There's a reason why. Obviously we haven't put it out yet. Something we're looking into and working at. Yeah, there's a female gremlin in Gremlins 2 with lipstick. It creeped me out too. I'm not using a matte cap right now, Pablo. That's just me using basic material 2, and I made my own lighting. That's all I'm using. Okay, so this is the way to go. Now, another way I can go where quickly, I just want to maybe have a UV layout that I can tell where the model is. Okay? Number one, the one thing that I'm going to want to use is polygroups. Okay, so I'm going to turn the paint off. So I'm going to go to subtools and just hold the shift key and click this off. Right? And then just looking at the head, okay, I want to have the ability to have polygrouping here, right? So I want to tell ZBrush, okay, let's work on this, and let's go and say, let's make a polygroup as far as, let's say, the ears, and I'm going to be really quick about this. Let's say something like that. I'm going to hit Control W. Let me turn off the texture, because right now my texture map is on. Okay, so I'm going to say Control W, and you can see that's one color, and then this head's another color. Okay, I'm doing this because it's going to be better to unwrap this with the ears coming off the head. Like, it doesn't make sense to me to wrap this together. So, in the plugins, okay, there is something called UV Master. All right, and what I can do now is say this is where Lisa Needs Braces came from for me, right? Because when teaching this, I'm like, students, pay attention to me. This is super important step. Don't lose it. This is a Lisa Needs Braces. If I gotta wake you up right now, look up here. Look at me. Up here, up here, up here, up here, up here, up here. Right? So, you 100%, if you're gonna use this on wrapper, click on Work on Clone. And what we're going to do is make a copy clone of the model and only have the lowest subdivision level. And we're also switching a material. Okay? That's a material that's good for painting. Okay, so now I'm working on a cloned model of, there's the clone model of the head. All right, and then I've got this. So now what I want to do is say here is what you can do. If you just click unwrap, let's see what we get. I'm unwrapping. And so the point of this plugin is to just give me a better representation that I can actually see my model. Right, so there, it's done. I hit flatten, and then that's what it looks like, right? So at least this one I can kind of tell it's something, like it's some kind of shape. It's not just a bunch of little squares everywhere like PUV gives us. But the wrap's not very good, right? To give you an idea, I'm going to unflatten it, and then I'm going to say check seams. And you can see there's a seam going straight to the middle, the front of the face, right through the eyes. That is not a good unwrap. That's a horrible unwrap. Okay? So this is why we start to say, give you things to control. Right? Number one, I did polygroups. So right here, I'm going to say, turn on the polygroups, and now let's unwrap. So what's going to happen here is I'm minimum going to have 3 islands of UVs. So it's done, I flatten, and then there you go. So you can see each ear now has its own UV shell, island, right? There's one, here's another, and then the face has got another. This is definitely a way I want it, because this is going to allow me to use as much of the UV space as possible. So you can see the floor grid is pretty much representing your UV space 0 to 1. All right, really boring stuff right now, but you guys, you asked. So you know what? It's ZBrush late night, so let's get crazy. I'm going into the UV world. So I'm going to unflatten that and go, you know what? I still don't like that. So I'm going to enable control painting, and I'm going to protect the face. Okay? And so what that does is going to paint red. So we're switched automatically to the paintbrush, and because I put on protect, it automatically switches to a certain red. And what I'm trying to tell this plugin is, hey, this part of the model is the most important part. Okay? And this is our goal. It's kind of a gestural, hey man, there, right? Then I'm going to go to the back, and I'm going to say attract, and I'm going to say I prefer the seam to be back down the back of the head, right? And if I wanted the ears, I would do the same thing. I want them to be the back of the head. Then I say, now, what does that look like? I unwrap that. When that's done, I'll flatten it, and then there you go. So see, I can start making out, like there's the eyes, there's the nose, right? And then here's my ears. So let's say I like this now. I can now copy my UVs, bing, come back down here. I've been working on a clone. Right below is my actual model piece. I select that. This is currently sitting on the lowest subdivision level. Okay? And then now I just come here and I say paste UVs. And now what I have are the UVs on this model. So if I walk back up, subdivision levels, right? So you just hit the D key to walk up subdivision levels. All right, and then I'm going to say, let's turn on the paint again on this model here. All right, and then new from poly paint. Right, and you can see what you get. I can do a UV check as well here. It'll give you your UVs check. So this is a great way to UV. Now, what's nice about this now is in the UV map, okay, I actually have this button called Morph UV. So I'm gonna tell ZBrush, let's go ahead and morph this head. So I'm gonna go in solo mode and morph it. And this is gonna look at the UVs flattened, but you can see my sculpt right here, right? So there's the eyes right there, there's the nose, there's the mouth, there's all the scales that I've been doing, right? Here's all the other stuff on the head. So you can actually sculpt on this now in this mode. Okay, so I'm in the Morph UV mode, right? So I'm gonna go right here, which is the back of the head, right? So if I just start sculpting on this, let's say, let's turn off. Let me just reset because I've been changing so many brushes. I have the infinite on right now. So as I start sculpting, you can see I'm literally sculpting on flat UV space. Right, so here we'll put something, maybe this is going to be easier to play with the mouth. Right, so maybe I want to push back the mouth a little bit more in this point. So this is an easier way for me to get to the inside of the mouth. Right, and the higher polygon count is, the more dense it's going to be when you're doing this. Right, so if I want to really accent this silly smile I have on him, and then here we'll put just, let's go smaller than that. Right, and then now if I hit Morph UV, all that detail, see right there in the mouth? It's all there. There's the high I just put on, right? And then here's all the sculpt I've been doing there, right? And then of course, again, if we want to switch to the painting ability, I can say, let's go ahead and fill it with this color. Let's Morph UV. Right? And then now I can paint even in this. Now, what's nice about this is I can use the ability to like do a perfect straight line like this, and it can go across multiple UV shells. So that's pretty powerful. It is 10 a.m. somewhere in Europe and Russia. It's 10 a.m. right now. Yeah, because it's 1 in the morning my time right now. So I'm just painting however I want. But I could also say, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's grab some texture. Okay, so I'm just going to Lightbox, grab some textures in here. We'll load this up. Let's see, what can we put on it? This looks cool. Let's put this on him. So I'm going to double click this twice. It's going to load it into the texture palette. It's just tree bark. Right? And up here in the texture map, you can see it right here in the texture. I'm going to click on this icon right here, which is add to spotlight. Okay? And what that's going to do is put the texture floating in space. So what's nice about this is I'm now going to say, let's interact the spotlight radius. So this icon right here. Again, I'm at this icon that looks like kind of like a spotlight. I'm going to drag on that, and you can see the little dial moves. Like this. I'm going to go right about there. Right? I'm going to hit the Z key, as in ZBrush. The image disappears, but it's still there. Right? And then now, let's go bigger. I can actually paint, right, this right onto my model. So maybe this is actually not a bad skin tone for this guy. Something very different. Let's see what it looks like, right? So I'm in the flat mode. It's so easy to paint that really fast like this, right? And then now I just unmorph it, and then see all that paint gets transferred to my model. So that's a way that you guys can also use the UVing ability, which is very nice to do. Oh, I don't want red. That's crazy. So on solo that. Okay, does that help and answer your question for what you're talking about with UVs? Hopefully that helps you out. This is not, listen, what we're talking about right now, Oleg, is a very technical thing. This is why we don't have a UV editor. We're really about keeping it less technical. I think every software has things you have to learn, right? So really focus on just what you want to do. Like if you're just trying to look, I just want to be able to sculpt like a gremlin, then all you really need to worry about is I grab a sphere and I use like maybe 5 brushes. You can make a gremlin. That's it. Don't worry about even what I've been talking about right now. It's not even relevant to you, especially for learning. Okay? So just try to take a little bit off, a little bit at a time. Okay? There's many things that I try to learn that can be confusing to me, but you just got to keep nibble, right? Okay? That would be my best advice for you. And then you'll slowly start learning technical things. Do you have any tip for practicing one sculpt a day challenge? I'm trying to put able close to finishing any sculpt, especially when I try for non-stylistic sculpting. Any tip for practicing one sculpt a day? No. Honestly, I think that's a great way to become a better sculptor. The only tip I would give you is instead of trying to do maybe one sculpt, like one complete sculpt a day, pick on maybe certain anatomy pieces a day. I.e., tomorrow is going to be ears. So sculpt like 10 different ears. Like you're going to do a sculptor like I'm doing a gremlin ear, then do a human ear, then do a troll ear, then do a dog ear, right? Stuff like that. And then the next day do noses, the next day do eyes. You'll probably learn a lot more doing specific things like that. And then now go sculpt one sculpt a day, and I guarantee you'll get faster. I think trying to get a finished sculpt in one day is very difficult, but I guess the biggest thing that I kind of been saying here is don't try to marry yourself to the great details. Remember is you control what the user is going to see. So where you put it in space and do a render, right? So if I want to do a render of this guy, I now hit the Shift R and I get a render of this guy, and now I've got a render. This is as close as I'm going to allow you to get to my guy. I'm not going to let you get closer to him. That's it. No closer. Right? And then I got to decide, do I like these shadows, which I don't like. Okay? I'm not a fan of these shadows. And then maybe I want to start also playing with some filter stuff. So for giggles, let's just start playing with some filters. What does he look like? Line. Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cool with the red. I'd probably change up the red though. That's pretty cool. Right, so I can double click on these and then there's just like a line art piece of him. There's so many, and here's if I want to make it look like a blueprint. Let's see what he looks like with the drawings. That's pretty cool. So these are just load in different chromatic aberration in there. What else is in here that we can play with? Ooh, see watercolor. That's cool. If I put color on him, that's going to start looking like a painting. That's pretty cool. This is fun too, just doing this and trying out. Here's a color dodge. Like, you can just do so much. And these are all just presets. And of course you can make your own of these. Ooh, let's see with some pencil. See if I like any of the pencil ones. That's cool. Starting to look like just a pencil drawing on a sheet of paper. I like that. Right, so there's a whole bunch here that you could do. Here's like, looks like an ink. It's pretty awesome. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so keep the questions coming. We're again doing ZBrush late night here, well, at least for me and anybody in North America and Brazil and Central America. It's late night. But for those of you in Europe and Asia and Russia or India, you know, it's not late, but darn it, we're going by my time zone right now. Okay, so I want to start, those shoulder pieces are starting to bother me because they're just too perfect. So the files, in order to save what I was doing rendering wise, that's where you want to save a project over a tool. A tool will not save the fact that I assign that filtering to my render. And in fact, a project will save all my render settings as well. Because like, I wouldn't use those shadows. Those shadows are way too solid and too dark for me. I would adjust those shadows, and I'd throw in an ambient occlusion and all that stuff as well. Okay, so that's the difference between here is saving a tool. Okay, and then in the file menu also can save a tool this way. And then the save as here is saving a project. So if you're going to start getting into rendering, you 100% want to save projects over tools when you start doing your rendering stuff. Okay, so these shoulder pieces, they need some love. All right, so right now, I've got dynamic subdiv on them. I'm going to apply that. Okay, so we have this. And just like I did some other stuff, I'm going to just start putting in some iteration to this. So now, you see like this can start happening, right? Where this is all one subtool, right? So all these meshes are sitting in one spot. In essence, it's one subtool here. Now, if I want to keep them this way, but just want to sculpt on the one, like this one, this is the only one I want to sculpt on right now, and move around. This is, excuse me, a prime example of using some other features inside of ZBrush. Okay, so I might want to say, all right, this I want to be limited to the topology shell. So in the brush palette, I'm going to come down here to auto masking. Okay, and down at the bottom, there's topological. Sorry. Oh, I thought I had water in here. Okay, and what that's going to do now is limit this particular brush. So if I start like sculpting, right, it's really limited to only this brush. Right? And so now only this is getting, but you guys could also start doing, you know what, you're going to need to maybe be able to only see one, and that's it. So this is another example where I would use, in the polygrouping, I would do an auto group. That way each one of these get their own, and then now I just click on this one, and then now I can just work on just this one. It's coming down to what workflow do you want, right? So you can use something like that, or I can just say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to work on it. Right, and then so the other thing that I'm going to want to work on here, with especially along here when I get along the edges here, is I'm going to turn on this back face masking. So that's going to, why I'm sculpting on the front here. And I'm going to go in solo mode. All right, so I'm just going to put Just some striation ability through here. Just something like that, okay? And you can see that's now starting to have a little bit more life to it. I'm going to divide it up some more. So now I'm at 1 million. Let me grab that now. And just start putting in. I want this to be broken up so it's a little bit more natural. I don't want it so smooth. The surface should not be super smooth on this guy. So I'm actually using this brush as a way for me, and then smoothing it back, kind of just like on the body, just to put a little bit of striations in there. And then now we start accenting some of these striations. And I definitely want different age. I start wanting to have different this is where that second light I put can come in handy big time. It's just a quick way and be as light as I can. Now I'm just using the Damien standard and then push it back a little bit more in areas and in some areas. Yeah, there. And start doing stuff like that. Stuff like this. Okay. And some other stuff that I want to start to do is I don't want this to be all perfect, right? It's too perfect, too smooth. Okay? What's happening, Solid? How are you doing? Okay? Joe, I don't think it's that important, crucial to learn the entire 3D model pipeline, like all the way from sculpting to rigging. No, I don't think you need to learn all that. It doesn't hurt to have a little bit of knowledge, because if you're in the industry and you're going to be working at a studio, you're going to be working with people, and it'd be good. Make friends with those animators, man, because they're the ones that also control what model, like how much work you're going to have to put into the model as well. So I would definitely be friends for sure. So I need to put a little bit more different abilities in this, as far as can't be all on the same level. It's just, it doesn't work for me. So I need to switch to something like the move brush and start pulling on certain parts more. Just start adding variations in this. This shouldn't be all the same. It's organic, first of all, right? So it should have a little bit more stuff going on here. I'm looking at my references that I have here. I'm really gonna change this up. I really want to make sure this is being seen on the other side as well. So something like, right, and then turn that back on, show everything, right? And you can see that's starting to become a lot more natural looking, like it belongs there. Okay? I couldn't say if ZBrush will ever support Python. Couldn't say. This is a great question. I think Oleg is asking, what kind of work does a 3D artist find besides video games? There's so much. There's toys. There's collectibles. There's the medical world, right? There's so many things, people just using ZBrush to even make little animations for patients. Think about hardware like belts or purses, all that, or jewelry. All that stuff is getting made inside of ZBrush, right? So you got like this. This is a little car that I'm making that's 3D printed, right? It's a little toy car for my daughter too, right? So stuff like that. It's just look around where you're sitting right now, how many things you could probably print. A bottle, a cell phone case, all that stuff is where people are using 3D applications. So there are many industries you can get into. There's themes saying they use ZBrush for signage and modeling theme parks. There you go, right? Hugely used in modeling theme parks. A lot of artists I know using that. Conrad asked, hi Paul, this may be a rookie question. When I'm sculpting with the clay buildup, it drags that shape square, especially when I'm dragging it faster. I tried lowering or turning up the lazy mouse and close. No, that's really not going to do much for you. If you start sculpting too fast with that brush, you're moving too fast with your hand, right? So if you're going like real fast with this clay buildup, right, let me actually, if I collect it right, see, I'm pretty good for this as far as that goes, but there's an alpha on there, right? And that alpha is being used along the stroke. So if you're going to go real fast with it, yeah, you might have that alpha be dropped a couple times. There's not really much else you can do for that except making sure you don't work so fast, right? Because it's hard for me to do that. There is sometimes, like right in there it did a little bit, because then I was going real fast. But this is very dope. So like that. It's just too fast of a stroke. So you could slow it up a little bit. You could be in the brush palette too. You could use, a good one to use is directional. So this will help maybe you. So I'd try putting on that directional. Maybe that'll help you. Okay? As far as being able, so that you don't get the stamping. I'm assuming that's what you're asking about, if you're getting stamping. Miniatures is another career, 100%. In fact, after I'm done the gremlin, I'm going to be doing a miniature. Okay, so I would do stuff like that. Lazy mouse isn't really... Lazy mouse is actually a little bit more the opposite of what you're asking. Because lazy mouse is just about making a steady stroke, right? So it's in essence a delay, so it doesn't drop it until a little bit later, right? That's really what lazy is, so you have a nice consistent stroke. Okay, so playing with that won't do as much for you, right? So just being able, right, something like that. One part you might want to try also playing with. It's old, but it's fun to play with. Let's see. I thought it was in samples. No, it's in modifiers then. Yeah, trails is a fun one. Okay, so this is saying, in essence, how many times should the brush be dropped when you're sculpting. So if I start sculpting, see like right, that bend is still moving. This is a great brush for like putting like hair wrinkles. And now if we throw in a combination of gravity in this, right? So I throw a little bit of gravity, right? You can get some pretty cool looking like strokes through this, right? And then you can smooth it back if you want. So you see how it's still moving? So this is a great way, right, to maybe put some hair as an example. Right, so this is where it is. You got this gravity ability and their depth, and then in the modifiers there's trails. So in essence 27 says there's the first part of the stroke, And then as you're moving along, apply it 27 more times behind it. So that's why it's kind of moving. So if we crank this all the way up to 100, I'm in essence, see how the stroke's still moving near the beginning? See, like right there, that was made after I was already past it. See, it's still moving right there because there's 100 strokes. So maybe you can play with this a little bit too. This might give you a little bit. See, the brush is very different now. It's more like clay strips now. Like I'm just taking a strip and laying it down real fast. And this is only happening because I'm using trails. Like that's actually a cool, I like that brush actually. That's pretty cool. So again, trails, I just changed it to 100. You know, if I crank the intensity up, it's just going to make the brush even more pushing out. It's going to be, let's see what that looks like. Oh, this is nice. I love the feeling of this too. This is actually, I might need to save this out. This is a cool brush. It's really like a softer stroke. That's nice. And then with the intensity ability changing by my pressure sensitivity, I can tail off. So I can do, yeah, that's a nice brush. So again, trails, and then you can play with your intensity however you want. And then I'm on clay buildup. Yeah, happy accident is right. That's gonna become one of my brushes now. I'm gonna have to start using something like that. That's nice. It might even be nice on this, right? Because this will give it a nice little, like, see the difference? That's pretty cool. Oh, that's nice. It's almost like paint strokes. That's cool. I like that. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of that. Okay, so hopefully, Conrad, that helps you out. I see that you just said, okay, thank you. So, and then we just made a new brush together. There you go. Just like that, we made a new brush. Fun. So I'm going to go and start putting the treatments like this on the shoulders because it's just going to be more realistic. And then, of course, I got to start making it look like they're digging into the skin a little bit more. I might flatten them a little bit. I think they're a little too puffy. I think they got too much roundness to them. I think they need to have a little move brush love. Okay, not that much. Something more like that. It's just a little more realistic. So I'm just using the move brush with the Alt key to kind of push them down. So I'll go in solo mode so I can just see what I'm doing here. This would be a smart move, switching to a lower subdivision level. This is why I'm such a big component of subdivision levels. They're just going to do a lot more for me. So I'm just getting rid of some of that puffiness that was happening. Just a little bit better. Yeah. And watch this. I'm going to switch to move topological. And that way I can just play with one of these at a time. Get this where I want it to be. I don't like that at all. And just get away from that perfection that we get from a computer and working this way. Something a little bit more like that is working for me. Alt key and move topological. And because these are all separate shells, I don't have to do anything else. Yeah, that's better. I think them raised off his body too much. It's just too much. I think that's a lot better, doing something like that. I think I'm preferring that silhouette more. Yeah, I like what's happening in there a lot more. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Nice. This thing is so handy for me. The stream that has the posing was the last stream I just did with this gremlin before this one. Let me see if I can find it for you. So again, another great resource obviously is going to our YouTube page. YouTube / ZBrush. All right, let's see if I can find it real quick for you. Let's see, let's just search by me. Boy. Okay, here we are. Part 3, part 4. Part 1. Part 5, part 6. Here it is. So this is the one that has me working in the posing. Here you go, Sahid. Send it to everybody. There you go. Make sure you all get it. Yup. So there you go, Sahid. There's where I'm using the rig to pose my character. Okay, continuing on. I don't know how much later I'm going to be able to go. It's 1:38 in the morning my time right now, so I'll try to hold off here for a couple, a little bit more time, but not a crazy amount of time. I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel the need to go to bed. I'm gonna keep going on these though, making these be pretty extreme, and just give it some love. Change up my stroke from time to time. And again, this would be good to make sure in the auto masking that we have backface masking on. This brush is pretty powerful. So I definitely need variations happening here. And I don't want to get rid of all that. That's this for what I want this to be. This is perfect. This brush actually making these lines on the surface is just gold for what I'm trying to make right now. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then I'm going to move some of this so it's just starts breaking up. It shouldn't be so perfect. Start playing with the silhouette in essence. Oh yeah, that's nice. The silhouette of this. And let's not forget, I've said this before. This is in stages, so this isn't like I'm not in the subdivision level where I'm like, okay, it's done. I know there's all going to be other levels here happening for me, so I got to think of that, right? And know I'm going to be doing more details on this later. Okay, I like that. Damien Standard now. Let's accent that one a little bit more. I really liked accenting this one more. Now let's put a little more emphasis on that one, and that one, and then now just quickly just make some difference. This is Damien Standard making some difference here. Yeah, there. And then maybe push it back. Right, and then that's where I'm at with these. Brush move topological. Let's make this one but better up into it. Just make this one be very different. A little more. Something like that. More like that. Yeah, there you go. Coming together. Okay. In movies and games, when the man changing to Hulk or Dragon or other, is it done with sculpting or layers? Both. You're gonna sculpt. That's just straight up sculpting, but you're gonna sculpt on layers as well, and then store that. Sleep is for the weak, Ben says. I like it. Who need? I will sleep when I'm dead. Yeah, we're trying an experiment right now, just the stream being at a nighttime. So this is just ZBrush late night is what I'm calling these streams for when I want to try streaming late at night, just to see what kind of audience I'm getting, who's enjoying this. Right, I'm seeing a lot of the usual suspects as well in here, which is just awesome. I'm shocked that you guys want to keep watching me mess with Gremlin, but I'm only doing this because I really want to get this done. And I figured you guys would want to just see me go through the whole process of this anyways. Since we're already 7 episodes in on this Gremlin. A little bit ridger. I might still change this because look at his references. He's got small plates, multiple. A lot like what I'm doing right now. Looking at my reference that I'm using, it's just they're not so perfect. Right, that's my problem. I'm just they're too computer generated perfect right now. Right, they're all just falling perfectly. And I don't think I should have that because looking at my reference here, they're not all following perfectly in line. Some are smaller, some are bigger. And I think that's part of my problem. And there's a lot there. There's like on this shoulder, if I had to count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 of them. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, so I think I need to add a couple other ones after I get these main 4 ones done, and then maybe even change the size. So maybe it'd be worth doing something like this, centering that, and maybe changing just the size of this one. And also maybe it's more forward. It's got a different lean on it. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that because then I'll do a duplicate. I'll do another one there. I'm gonna add some more. It's my world. It's my Gremlin. So I'm just gonna keep working away at this and like this one. I think maybe I should make it do a little bit more like that. Yeah, that's better. Nose is itchy. Yeah, there. This is what I mean, like, it's never done, right? We're never done. But there's a point where you gotta just keep going and moving on, right? Hey, thanks, Pro. I'm glad you like the model. I've been having a lot of fun actually making him. Is there a way to export crease information from ZBrush to Houdini and vice versa? Well, we are exporting crease information on our .ma file, which is your Maya ASCII file. We are also exporting crease information in FBX. So if Houdini supports that on that other side, they would have to support that. There's nothing we can do about that. We are exporting our creasing. But obviously the other application also has to import that creasing. We import creasing through FBX and go Z and a .maya MAA file. So, but you got to have the opposite end too. Since in the movie mostly blend shapes is used, while they would be made in ZBrush or Maya. No, I would make the blend shapes inside of ZBrush, like the actual full-on blend shaping. And in fact, we have a plugin that's called Maya Blend Shapes. So with one click of the button, you would make each blend shape on a layer inside of ZBrush. You'd come in here, come down here to this layers here, and each expression or each thing would be in a layer. And then this one plugin, you just click the button, what you want to go over, and we'll take every single layer and make it a blend shape inside of Maya. So this is made specifically to blend shape out to Maya. But no, people do, like, if you think, speaking of people were asking about careers, you take things like what Leica does with all their stop motion animation, they're actually doing all the face replacement things and facial changes inside of ZBrush. A lot of them are using ZBrush to do that. And they're not the only ones that do stop motion stuff like that. So, another fun-filled fact for you. So again, I just got to keep now consistent. So the thing is, be careful when you come like this. I've got a workflow that's kind of working for me now. Try to stay in this workflow. Like, don't break it yet. Like, again, hit every single one of these. So I'm using the clay buildup to put some texturing elements in these. So make sure that's what the other ones have. So stick with this same technique, right? And then if you don't like it and you want to do something else, that's when I start playing with the technique and finding something to combine with what I'm already doing here. And see, I'm going to push these all back. I just want that. I want that right there, that ridging. And this is where having a material with specularity and that other light that I've applied is a huge game changer for me. It's helping me visually see things very quickly for myself that I normally wouldn't see if I didn't have a specular material on right now and I didn't have that second light creating that orange that you're seeing right now. That's been crucial for me to find the differences between this. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Let's make sure that is a little bit better. Right, now I need to hit it with the Damien Standard and accent some of the major grooves, changing and shifting of planes through here. Yeah. Let's get it on the other side. Flip it over! Maybe I repeated that too much. I don't like that. I don't like it. Switch back to my handy dandy move. Start repositioning some of these. Right, and don't forget about masking. You can mask something out. And as I'm moving this now, right, that mask stood out more. I just really gotta make this feel a little more organic. that everything can't be identical the same. Which is great. Great way. Oops, I think it's a little too strong for me. Some smaller indentions in here now. Okay, let's see how that's looking with the rest of them. It's coming together. I like where this is actually, I like where it's going. It's really starting to come together nicely. Okay, I'm really digging this. Thanks, Nirmal. Where can I post my models? Ah, okay. So, posting your models, great spot. So I started the stream with this. Let's get into this. Again, I started the stream with using our new free version, which is the ZBrush Core Mini, which was just released. Okay, so right here you can find information about it. So I'm on ZBrushCentral.com. You can click on this post. We just released this on Wednesday, which now it's Saturday morning for us. So this is a free version of ZBrush. It's just going to pretty much be sculpting, have ZBrush Sculptris Pro in it. You can click right here, and this is the actual page again for it. So let me save this out. And what we've been doing with you guys as a community, so even when I started this stream, in ZBrush Central as well, we have another post topic right here made with the image 3D PNG from the Mini and GIF. So if you go into this, there's models that people are sharing, and this image is actually hosting the model information for the Mini version. So you can download here, and at the bottom here, okay, is just gremlin. Oh, look at that, we got one. Yeah, Jimmy, all right. That's looking awesome. Oh, that's great. Dice K just put one up. So here's the gremlins I was starting with. And then now if I want to see Jamie's here, or Jaime if you prefer, I can just do a save as. And then now I just save this where I want. Okay, and now it's saved. And that GIF is now saved. And now I just need to launch my Mini again. ZBrush Core Mini. And I can take that file, all right, and actually load it up. So let me load that one up. So yeah, let me launch that Mini, and I'm gonna open it into my Mini real quick. Let me see what the dates are. The 13th at 1:53 in the morning. So Jamie Ramirez Art made a gremlin off of my gremlin, and now I have it. Oops, hold on. In my Mini version. Awesome. Nice job, Jamie. Are you still here? There you go. So all I did was just went here and opened it. Right? And I can say no, and then I can open my Gremlin 2 again. And it's a GIF that's opening. GIF, right? So this is where I started blocking them out. And then Jamie definitely made it go a lot further and a lot better. Okay? So, another thing I know this was getting brought up. Somebody also brought up the lighting that I made here for this. I'm really digging it. I like the color, right, that's going on through here. Okay, so I'm going to make the color be bright again. And let's do a little something else with this. Because I think I'm going to save out this kind of thing. I want to make a material of this, actually. I like what it's doing. So I'm going to fill this guy with just all the same color at least. Okay, and what I'm going to do is my material's really bright. Instead of using the paint, okay, I'm going to go into the material attributes. So right now I'm just looking at this material. It's very dull. I've got my double lighting, which I like. So let's save this out, and maybe I'll upload this and you guys can have this. I'll save out this material because someone asked, and it wasn't a Mad Cat material. I'm just using standard materials, and I just made my own lighting, but it's looking really good. So let's share this too, because we're coming to an end, because I'm starting to feel bedtime for myself. So in the material palette here, I'm going to say, you know, less diffuse. And instead of using the poly paint, I'm just playing with this. I'll keep the specularity. So let's see if we get rid of the ambient completely. I'm just finding a nice, or I like a darker, put a little bit of ambient in that. That's too much. Okay, something like this. I like this. Okay? And, you know, this is a standard material, but I can turn it into a matte cap. Right? So down here, you can say create matte cap texture. So I can click on that, and then there is an actual representation of my lighting and standard material. So this is a great way, if I find something that you like, okay? This awesome, amazing, I want to come, awesome likeness of Drust. Oh man. All right, so all I did is I was using a standard material, create matte cap. I've got a lighting here and I've got two lights. Now I've got an image. So I can now go grab an actual matte cap material. So here's chalk as an example, right? And then see it's an image. And I can click on this and grab that, right? And then now this is what's now being applied. Okay? And so now this, I just have to find the right intensity. I'd probably need to drop this back down to 1. And then now I've got that. And then you can even add a little bit of cavity with this one if I put in another B, right? And now this is a matte cap material of my model, right? So now I can load this every time. And even if I turn the lighting off, okay, so the lighting won't even matter as much anymore. As you can see on the body, see it's still getting that orange because the body right now has this material, right? So if I turn off in my subtools all this painting ability, right? And then now you can see the lighting is still there, even though I just turned off that light. That's the rim light, right? So this is a great way to, in essence, convert, okay, your model, okay, from that lighting that I made and making your own material. So there you go. That's how I would do that. Do you guys need to see that again? Does that make sense to everybody? So I'm using a standard material which takes on the lighting information, and then I want to kind of keep it. So I can just make a texture, and now I just click any one of the Mad Cap materials and swap out. So like if I, like where's the pearl? Hold on. The pearl's a nice one. Like, so watch this. This is a pearl, and it's got some cavity to it as well, right? So I can say, I like the looks of that one, but I can say, no, let's go ahead and convert it into my material. And then there you go. Right? And drop this intensity would probably need to be at 1 and 1. So it's going to be what I made. And then this is just a cavity control, which this isn't really going to do much because you need 2 spheres down at the bottom. Okay, so there's a great way for you guys to save out your materials, even though it's standard material. So let me save it out for you guys, and you guys can have this. So let me put it up on that in that thread. Let's let's see. It was in the chalk. We'll go with the chalk one. Right, so this is pretty much it. Right? And then you can make it darker just at any time, adding more paint, right? So if you want it darker, you could do that. Right? Or you just start dropping the intensity of A. I kind of like it a little bit darker. I'm going to go with 0.7. Yeah, I like 0.7. It's good tone. All right, let me save this out. I'm going to go save. Let's call this. All right, quick, people. What do we call it? Let's call it. I kind of want to, like, for sculpting. Sculpt, light sculpt. Sculpting. Light. Rim light sculpt. I'm going to call it just sculpt light for now. So let me save that. There you go. PG matte. Good one, Joe. I like that. And then now let me grab it for you guys. And let's put it in that same thread. Why not? So you guys can have it. If you really wanted it. Where did I... Like, I am not paying attention to where I save things right now. Let's search it. Where? Sculpt light. Where did I save it? I want to save it again and pay attention this time where I'm saving it. Oh, I saved it. Okay, I know where I saved it. Went to my hard drive in the Gremlin, which is actually nice. That's where I was saving last time. Sculpt light. Let me compress this. Let me add the archive. I'll make it. And then I'll make the zip called material. And say okay. All right. We'll do that. And in fact, instead of putting it there, let's just, I'm gonna post a new thread. I'm gonna make a new topic. And I'll just put my gremlin in there, like a render of it, and go for that. And category ZBrush artworks. It's good. We'll tag it character. We'll tag it sculpture. We'll tag it. Let's make a gremlin tag. I'm making it. I'm doing it. I'm making my own tags, baby. Right. And this is the gremlin I've been working on in my streams on ZBrush Live. Okay, and let's do this. Let's clear this out. We'll do a little snapshot-a-roo. Let's do something like this. And we'll document, export that. I'm going to save that as a JPEG. Gremlin. Save. And let's crop it. I don't need all of this. Just crop that much. Say okay. Alright. And let me go back to online. So you guys can have this. I'll put that there. Date modified. There it is. Okay, and then let me also put, here is a matte cap of the lighting. Welcome to you guys listening to me type and talk it out loud to myself. Just brilliant. Just brilliant. Sculpt light material. There's the zip. Post. There you go. All right, and then let's do a bigger render of him. All right, so let's do a squared render of him, and then I'll be done for the night. So let's go through and make just a fun render. So let's do a squared document space. So let's do this. Let's do 2048 by 2048. Now let's go 4096 by 4096 because I want to do something. I'm going to resize. Yes, resize the document. Okay, I'm going to draw him out now. T. All right, and this is the only time I'm going to use this. I'm going to zoom out and zoom some more. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is also do an actual AA half. So he's anti-aliased now. So you can see he needs to take up more of my document space. So I'm zooming out so I can really make sure he takes up all that space that I can. So let me push him back a little bit more. There you go, that's pretty good. Alrighty then, let's get into the rendering here. I render it out. The shadows, I don't like them. They're way too dark. So the G strength is for the model. So I'm going to knock that down to 0.7. I want the floor to be 0.8. I'm going to make the floor be darker than him. Okay. So I just see a question. Now, once you remesh, your layers are toast. Because when you remesh, you're changing your vertex order. And layers are dependent upon vertex. So that's why. So let's go with, let's make a softer, like harsh, but not so harsh. So let's go with like 50 rays on an angle of 8. And I'm going to keep that. Let's render that out. Let's see what we get. Right, so I have an anti-aliasing on this. And we'll add this to the post. And I guess from here on out, I'll just, as I'm moving along with this gremlin, you guys want to follow that and everything, I'll just keep posting in there. See what we get. Oh yeah, we got to turn that filter off. I have a filter in here. I think we put a default. There it is, default. So that way, that's the render. Okay, I'm. Don't like the shadow's okay. It's still a little too much on the ground. I don't like. I'm gonna go down to 0.6. The ground. I'm gonna go down to 0.6 on him too, for the strength. Re-render that out. I think it's just a little too dark. There, that's lighter. And you know what? Let's up the angles. Let's really break up that shadow a little bit more. I think it's just too much still. Do 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 da da do da. Okay, yeah, that's getting a little bit better. right? And let's maybe go 20. Angle of 20 instead. It's breaking just a little too much broken up for me. What link are you looking for, Saeed? Yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty good. You know, let's change my document color. I think it's also, let's go kind of more of a hot pink. Something more like that. Just make him push forward a little bit more. Okay, and let's do an ambient occlusion as well. So go to render properties. Let's throw on an AO. The AO's probably, so here's how I like to work, okay? I like to have a material that I make that really has no properties to it. So the materials here, I'm going to change the ambient all the way up. Drop the specularity. So we have this. It's just pretty much 100% ambient, right? So now when I render, let's turn off the shadows. When I render, I'm only going to see the ambient. You know what? I'm going to change the color too. I'm going to put a little bit of a bluish tint in my my shadow and ambient color. I don't want to be pure black. So let this finish. So I'm doing this so I can see what the ambient is actually going to look like by itself. And it gives me, there's my ambient occlusion, right? I don't like where it's sitting right now. So I am going to say, let's give this more resolution. So I'm going to go 5,000. Okay, and I'm going to triple the raise just because I have such a big document space, which of course this is going to make render take a little bit longer, but I'm all right with that. If this is going to make him pop a little bit more, then this is what I want to do. So again, I've just selected a basic material color. I've turned the ambient all the way to 100 and turned everything else off. So that way I'm seeing this, okay? So, but as far as your layer question, remeshing, there is a way you could use the history brush, actually, or you project history ability to do some stuff. You could apply the layers as part of your undo history, then remesh, and then go back. Oh yeah, see, there you go. That's a way better ambient inclusion. See, look at the difference. That's just only ambient inclusion. And then let's make, I want to put like a blue, like a darker bluish tint. Yeah, something a little bit like that. Let's see what that looks like. This is just a color change, so this will now render faster. Yeah, I'm liking that a little bit more. Let's go a little bit darker. Instead of just pure black, it's got a little bit blue tint to it. Okay. I'm just liking it. And now if I turn on shadows and re-render, we are now going to render shadows and ambient occlusion. So we'll be looking at only shadows and ambient occlusion. Right? And that way we've got a good render, just a simple render with that dark gray with the lighting that I did, because we're using the material, right? So we'll let this finish up. Oh man, it's going on 2:30. Oh yeah. Has anybody watching right now that has never been to our channel here on the ZBrush Live or seen ZBrush in action? Is there anybody here right now that has never seen this before? Just intrigued while I'm waiting for my render to get done here on this. Oh, The Final Blow. That's an awesome name too. The Final Blow. What's up? Welcome. There you go. So now that's my shadows and my AO, my ambient occlusion, which now see he's popping, right? Let's go ahead and just save that out. Let's make the document white right now, and then just let's do an ambient shadow only. There. That looks cool. Let's export that. I love just the AO look, ambient occlusion look of this stuff. So JPEG, Gremlin AO, AO underscore shadows, JPEG, and I want no cropping. So you can see this is a big image now. Say okay. There you go. Right? And I don't know, should we do the back? I don't know. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab that lighting that I'm using. Right? And go ahead and now render this out. Which will render fast because it's just material render. Right? And then now let's go ahead and change the document back again. Something like that. It'll be easier to spot the and then I am going to throw in on top of this, let's go to the filters. Okay, and I'm going to turn on the first filter. And I'm going to switch this to a blur. You know what? Let's do a sharpen first. Let's do a sharpen. Let's crank that up. Maybe a little too much. So around there. Yep. And then let's do a blur now. So I'm going to make this blur really high. Let's change the radius of this. So he gets blurry. There you go. And I'm going to use the depth now. So this is a quick way to put a depth of field on the render as well. And then I'm going to say from his cheek. And then depth B, we'll use the ear. Right? And then now let's just kick this way back. Like at like 2. And now the ears are a little bit pushed back. There's a depth of field on the render now. And now let's save that out. Export that. Let's JPEG that up. Gremlin. Whip. Gremlin whip. Front. Okay. And you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's do the back. Like, it's a work in progress, right? I'm not anywhere near done right now with him. At least people will get the idea of what we've been doing in our streams here. Okay, so let's render that one out. Got a long ways to go yet. Yeah, his name's Zed. Gremlin 6-pack. Yeah, we've named him Funnel, we've named him Zed right now. Which is perfect because I'm Canadian. So in Canada, we don't pronounce the Z that way. We say Zed. And many other countries also say that. But thank you for joining and loving the sculpt. So are you a sculptor as well? You said you've never seen this stream before. You've never seen ZBrush before. Are you actually, you just stumbled upon it because you saw the gremlin, or you're getting into sculpting? Because obviously there is now a free version of ZBrush. Well, I'm glad you like the name. I like your name. Final Blow's awesome. Bye, Zava. I wanted to say Zara. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here with me. Okay, there we go. There's that render. That's the back. Let's document. Let's export that. And JPEG that. And front. And then back. And there we go. All right, let's put this now in my post. Let's make a reply. Work in progress. A lot more to do yet. Beep, beep. All right, and now let me grab my images. And let's modify them by the date. So let's do the front first. And then and then just click and dragging, so it makes it nice and easy for us. And then we'll put the AO. Still loading the AO. And let's use this as our thumbnail now. And there you go. There we go. So feel free to jump in there, make any posts that you want to say, anything you want to share. And I think I still had a crop on. JPEG, back, save. Place it. Oh yes, I was cropping everything still. Should have paid attention to that. I'm gonna re-render these. I don't want it to be all cropped. Rookie mistake by me. So I'm gonna replace those images with images that aren't cropped. All right, so what time is it here right now? It's going on 2:30 in the morning for me. $2:23 a.m. or yep. Thanks, Saeed. So we'll let this render finish out and I'll replace it. Let's see the back now. Let me open this. All right, there we go. That's all of it. Okay, good. My fault. I didn't pay attention to my cropping. Bad me. Okay, export. We'll JPEG it. Front. Save. Yes. Okay, nothing's being cropped. Okay. And let me switch back to this material. So we can render out and just get our ambient occlusion, which will be fast because it's already been rendered. Boom, there we go. Oh, and I want to make my document white as well because that's a better way to see the ambient shadows. Yeah, there we go. That's awesome. I love an ambient occlusion render. I don't know what it is. I really like it. It's just so cool to look at. go. Okay. Let's go ahead and replace those images now that I did. Oh man, I noticed something with the hands. Let me go to the bottom of this. Let me edit this. I'm gonna take these out. And we'll go front. And then we'll go to the back. And then we'll AO it. There we go. Save edits. And that's my new thumbnail. All right, there we go. Much better. Okay. So there is a topic from me. And it's got that material in it. So if you guys want it, there you go. I'm getting pretty tired, people, so I think I'm going to have to call it a night. But before I do, again, I just want to remind everybody that if you, especially for the person that's in here hasn't used ZBrush before, okay, we did just release a free version called ZBrush Core Mini. All right, so I'm going to go here to ZBrush Central. So right here, there's a ZBrush Core Mini post right here. You can go to that, and then it'll get you to everything. It'll give you information. Nice little video here for you to watch. It's really just about getting in. Here's a whole stream of myself and Joseph Drust, mostly Joseph Drust, showing it in action, giving you great examples of it. Okay, and then sharing your images here as well. But right here, get ZBrush Core Mini now. You just click. It's free. So all you got to do is go to the download, make a Pixologic ID account, and then that's it. You'll have a download link. You can get it. So if you've really been enjoying and you've never used ZBrush, this is a great way for you to get in. And again, it's going to look, so this is from a user that actually sculpted this during my stream where we shared sculpts, right? So you can see it's a lot more less, okay, going on there. Right now, it's a great way to just get into ZBrush, so I can take his sculpt, sorry if I'm going to butcher it, and start even playing with some things through here. Maybe I'm going to snake hook this, and I'm going to add some spikes up here. Maybe all these little parts he did, I want to make them be a little bit spikier. Maybe something like that. And then maybe I also want to put some spikes through this side. Add another element to him. This is awesome. Great job. There's a little bit of variation in there. Cool. Love it. Maybe he's got curly ears. Have some fun with it. And then here, let me. Yeah. You know what's great about also the snake hook with Sculptris Pro is like you guys can do stuff like this, and then you can actually smooth something out to the point where you can break it apart. And now this is a separate piece of geometry from this. So that is fun to do. Butterfly ears. Yeah. Sorry, just now I'm having fun with messing with your model. This is now an artsy gremlin. He's living in it because doing these spirals makes me think that he's whimsical. He's very art-like. But you see how quickly we can work and make changes to it. It's a lot of fun. Looks pretty cool. That's some fun stuff right there. It looks more fierce, Jamie. Yeah. Definitely since the spikes added. Sorry I'm ruining your ears and everything too. So it's a really great way to get in. It's not a lot to handle. You can see that his model's sitting at 664,000 polygons. I can knock that down. I can even say knock it down lower. So this will put it at 250,000 polygons now. And then it won't lose any of the sculpted details. So right now it's remeshing it in a sense, but it's decimating it down. And then once this is done, there you go. Look, now I'm at 150,000 and there's really no change in the model. So this is a great way to just reduce your count and keep going. Right? And then, yeah, breaking off the pieces is awesome. Like you can make like that, and then now you have this piece to do what you want with. Inflate it up a little bit. Play with this a little bit. Now we're getting real artsy with Jamie's piece. Is it Jamie or is it Jaime? First way of saying it or the second way of saying it? Jaime or Jamie? This is pretty cool. I might do something like this with mine. This is fun to just change this up a lot and just mess with this. This is cool, like some kind of artsy. I don't know why I keep saying the artsy thing. It's like a puzzle piece ear. So like he's got like a map on his ears. Okay. So again, please join the fun with us with the ZBrush Core Mini here, and of course you can upgrade to ZBrush Core, which is now pretty our middle of the road, right? Product. And then I've been using the whole time with the other gremlin. I've been using the full version of ZBrush. So you can click right here and find more information about our other pieces. For hard surface, I actually use ZBrush a ton for hard surface. In fact, I only use ZBrush to do hard surface. So hold on, let me save this project out, and I'll load you something that give you an example of that I've done hard surface wise. Gremlin render. Because I'm going to probably I'm going to make a better render for my gremlin than what I have. Flo, thanks for coming, man. Glad you like it. So let this save, and I'll load something for you hard surface wise, just to give you an idea of just different projects I've done hard surface that are, it's all 100% ZBrush. So to your question, I prefer using ZBrush for all my hard surface. So let me just load a dummy project so we restart everything. Okay, and let me load a tool. Let's see what we got here. Gundam Body 20. Here you go. So here's a Gundam that I'm working on. So I guess that's like the ever popular, never-ending phrase. So this is all 100% in ZBrush. So this is obviously the torso piece. Here's the legs. Here's the skirt pieces. I'm not done. Large wings, small cannons, large cannons, top. Let me turn everything on for you. Top half, under weapons, small box, the arm, and the head. So here's an example of something that I'm working on. This is 100% ZBrush. This is all ZBrush that you're seeing. This is mostly just using ZModeler. Okay, so this is an example. This is why I like to use ZBrush for hard surface. Let me show you something else so you can get an idea here. Let's see, class. 5 booleans. So here's a gun I made, O2 District 9, so another hard surface piece. Again, all 100% ZBrush. I never left ZBrush to do any of these. Thanks. Thanks, Final Blow. I appreciate it. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're liking what you're seeing. Here's a piece I made that Lockheed Martin actually uses ZBrush, uses us. So I wanted to replicate one of their missile sensors. So this is all 100% ZBrush as well. This is another hard surface piece. Here I did a Rocketeer. Like I did a full backpack and it's gone. So here's just the backpack, so you can see just the backpack. Which this, again, all this is 100% ZBrush. Right, so this is all done in ZBrush as well. That I did. And then here's his gun, so it's a Mauser gun. And then this one I started coloring. You see I even got serial number on it. I've even got the Mauser logo, because they put their logo right here on the gun. So I got that. The serial numbers and all the pieces where it would be on the hammer. So this is all 100% ZBrush as well. So it's a Mauser gun, which is actually the Rocketeer gun. Let's see. Here's like a little chip piece that I made. I don't animate characters. No, I'm not a big animator. I'm just a model. I like to create from scratch. Final Blow, to answer your question. So here's another little piece I made. So I got a bunch of stuff, for sure, that I've done. I have some other stuff that I couldn't show, that I don't have on this hard drive on this computer. Here, I think I have the Rocketeer bust I did. Yeah. That's not the stand I ended up going with. I did a combination like this. See what else I have on. I don't even know what I have on in here. Yeah, I did this as the stand. Something like that. I don't know, I tried different variations. I think I went. There you go. That's what I went with. This is all ZBrush. And I have a version where it's all the leather's done and everything else like that, but looks like I don't have that version on this hard drive that I'm looking at right now. But that should help you, right? Give you ideas of some stuff that you can make hard surface, for sure. Here's like you might recognize this piece. Let's see if you guys recognize this. You guys recognize this? This was fun. And I have the book that has the blueprints of this. Does anybody know what this is from? This is all 100% ZBrush as well. Anybody want to guess what film it's from? It's a big film. It ain't small. And it's a series. One of the most popular films of all time. So this is a replicant. And I have the book. It's too much stuff to move right now. So this is from Star Wars. Yep. Star Wars. This is the mouse droid. So if you guys go back and watch the New Hope, or even go watch Rogue One, which I loved, these little guys are all over the Death Star. Just trolling around. So I did one of these. This was a fun project to do. It's called the Mouse Droid from Star Wars. I did 3D print the Rocketeer, yes. And I could 3D print the helmet 1-to-1 for sure. And yes, Final Blow, you can paint inside of ZBrush. Absolutely. So if I want to, say, pick a color here, let's say this black. I can fill it now, and now I can just grab any color I want and then just paint right on this model. Right? I can even grab an image from our textures. Here I can say, let's throw this on there. I don't know why, but let's do it. So let's look straight on like this. And let's add it. Spotlight. Let's say it's going to go right there. Perfect. And I'm going to switch to black. Let's just quickly mask out some of this. Okay. And then now right here, I can paint that and use it as a model, and see now I've painted that right on there. So yeah, you can paint 100%. You can't paint in the ZBrush Core Mini though. I'm in the full version again of ZBrush. I wonder if it'd be easy to explain what ZBrush can't do. That's funny. There is a lot you can do, 100% for sure. You embrace it, you go for it, there's a lot you can do. I did watch the Unreal Tournament 5. Yes, Unreal Tournament. Yes, I did watch the demo. We'll see how many people take advantage of that for sure using the new Unreal Engine. Because you can have millions of polygons. All right, guys. Unfortunately, I gotta go. It's going on 3 in the morning for me. So I really appreciate you jumping into this with me. This is was the first ZBrush at Night stream that I've ever done. It was great to have you here. Hopefully you enjoyed all my crazy gremlin and all these models. Thanks for coming. Good afternoon for everybody else in the world. Jose, it's 6 in the morning there. Oh man. So you're in Brazil. Well, thanks for being up this early with me. I'll be streaming again. I stream every Friday. Jose, I was streaming. I started streaming about almost 3 hours ago. So this is a stream that we're doing, but you can go watch this stream now. It's going to populate into our YouTube. So since you're on YouTube, it's going to be there. You can watch the whole thing if you want. And I stream every Friday. I usually stream at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but we wanted to see what if I did a stream. Oh, 6 a.m. in Miami. Oh, yes. Miami's awesome. Great to meet you too, Edgar. Great to meet all of you that came. The final blow. You got this. I love it. Please keep an eye out. We have a calendar chocked full. So if you guys have enjoyed this, please just head to ZBrush Live is what you guys have actually been watching. We have our own channel, which the stream is actually being broadcasted there right now as well. So we go to all of our major platforms. So go to ZBrushLive.com. So you'll see the stream's actually going to be there. Here I am on myself infinite. And right here, there's a calendar. All right, so you'd want to click on this up here, this calendar part. And you can see the streams that are coming up. Right? You guys don't want to miss this one also with Nelson Tai. Since I forget who was asking about hard surface, he's all hard surface inside of ZBrush. Amazing stuff. Okay, here's a list of, there's Joseph from my teammate, Pixologic. So you can also look at calendar view here. All right, and then, so on the 19th, I'll be going again at 11 a.m. And then I'll be going again on the 26th. But every Tuesday, we also have special casts. We have special ZBrush Masters. So every Tuesday, we get someone different. Nelson Tai's hard surface. On the 23rd, I don't remember who we have. And we're going to have a jeweler person on the 23rd. On the 30th. Oh, it's 7:45 p.m. in Australia. Man. This is awesome, man. This like the internet's amazing, right? The fact that we're all talking to each other from everywhere in the world is just awesome. I'm so glad you learned that something. Go try ZBrush. Yeah, let us know if you need anything. Go to that post of my Gremlin too. You can ask me questions there. I'm happy to help. So again, go to that ZBrush Central post that I made. And if you want to ask me questions there, by all means, far away, comment. Right? Your gremlin stinks. Oh, look at that. Awesome. So you put up your gremlin. That's awesome. Okay, so by all means, you can go here. I'll get emails if you guys post here, and you can have a conversation here too. All right? So thanks everybody. I wish I could keep going, but I'm feeling it now, and I need to get to sleep. And I got a 4-year-old that's going to be waking up in like 4 hours, and which means she'll be waking me up. So if I'm lucky, maybe she'll sleep in and she'll wake up in like 6 hours. At least I get 6 hours of sleep. Okay, everybody, have a fantastic evening for those that are in the evening. Australia people, the afternoon for people I see, for someone from Iraq and Europe and everywhere else. You East Coast people, man, Miami, I can't believe you're up with me. This is awesome. Is there even any West Coast people, or am I the only one crazy up at 3 in the morning right now? People in Brazil, this has been a lot of fun. This has been Paul Gaboury for ZBrush at night. I really appreciate you being here. Please come by anytime. Check it out. Have a delicious day. And I am out. Bye!